Hello, folks. Here we are, another Saturday Night Live, March 14th, 2020, I believe, is the year they say of clear vision. And here we are in this, what they call pandemic. So we embrace it, right? And we send everybody plaf, and we're prepared, and we know what to do, and we can help so many people, right? This is the test for the last 4.5 years we've been sharing this. This is the test. If people have been listening and are prepared, there won't be any panic. There won't be anything to be running scared, being in fear. This is the time to shine and send that plaf more than you've ever had. Was you were saying something, Kitty? Was that you?
Yeah, I was just saying garlic is a strong medicinal herb and it's a nervous system stimulant, so it's all right sometimes, but if we overconsume it, it's not going to be good.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like people are using it.
Fermented in honey, it's fantastic. Makes a
makes
a natural cough syrup.
Yeah.
And the honey's really good for antibacterial stuff.
There's so much stuff we can do. The tools available now are like infinite, but the main tool that few really want to comprehend is stop freaking eating, clean out the GI tract. Because when your terrain is the environment's plugged up, you can start killing everything, but you're a good host. And this is the key. This is the knowledge. Clean out those obstructions on the physical, mental, emotional level, and allow the process to happen, because you don't have to worry about all this stuff about what's good for this and what's good for that and all sorts of things. We're working on fields, and fields create all matter, and you just have to put your intent and emotion, and away you go. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over and over, man, in the last 4.5 years, with people dabbling into this master fast, what we call master fast lifestyle. And it's a beautiful place to be when the knowledge is taken in and understood through the experience, so that there's no panic. The difficulty would be is if they do shut off all the importing, exporting, and the supplies going in and out of stores and so on and so forth. You're going to have a lot of people in panic once they run out of food. A lot.
That's shut down now. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, it's on
the ports on the West Coast are empty. Nothing's come. Everything comes from freaking China, and nothing is coming out.
It's in the process, so it's just a matter of time before everything's emptied out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's 4 days in major cities. You stop the trucking. There won't be any food in the stores. So what are people going to do? When they run out of their supplies, what are they going to do? People are not prepared. They're going to be just going crazy. Some people miss one meal and they start going cuckoo because they're so toxic. And that's the problem, the real problem, right? People start drowning in their own filth. It has nothing to do with starvation. That we've blown that out of the water hundredfold. So now's the time for that we've been preparing for. We knew it was about to come one of these years. My friends and myself, we've been talking about this for a long time. We got to be prepared. We got to be prepared. It's just a matter of time before they shut things off. And this was, I think this is their grasp at every last straw they can, because so many people are waking up. And that's the last thing they want. So they're going to start forcing whatever they want to do, right? Vax or this or that or whatever. When they're the only ones with the guns, like in our country here, you can't have any guns. In the States, at least they have a huge militia. What is it, a couple million strong?
Oh,
more?
Probably 500-600 million guns here. They aren't touching us.
No, but I mean the militia, the actual militia.
The militias. Who knows?
There's a lot members of just that.
Yeah, I said the numbers in the millions.
And then the guns. There's tons of guns in the States. Over here, only the criminals have them. But hey, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? If somebody, if they're going to come at your place and with guns and want to vaccinate you, are you going to be in fear to get that vaccination with what you know? Are you going to be in fear? If they strap you down, they're going to inject you. Don't let that fear state come into you, because we know what to do. And if it would come to that, you know, you do the best you can to pull it out of you. We know what to do, right? Right away, get some clay packs, put it on the area. Start doing enemas, start doing your breath work. Stop eating for sure. Start, you know, taking your herbs. Hopefully, you're all stocked up. And away you go. There's, you know, for people who are not prepared, it's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be a rough ride. And that's going to be the challenge for the ones who are prepared, to be calm and to support and to help out all the others. At the end of it all, you know, we pray and that it doesn't come, but from what's been happening already worldwide, I think this is the trigger that they've been waiting for to pull. So we will see how it spans out over the next few weeks or so. There's, you know, you can't really believe much in the mainstream media. Only 6 families own the whole mainstream media around the globe. So if you want to get people to believe something, it's very easy to do. And this is what you see out there. Program. Problem, reaction, solution, as David Icke says. A lot of people think he's a nut, but everything he's talking about is right in front of our eyes if you pay attention.
Everything was a conspiracy theory. Now it's fact.
Oh yeah, 1984, the book
Fact.
1984, and all the other. There's quite a few other books that they've been talking about this for ages. It's all transpired exactly as it was written. It's just crazy when you look at it, but when you understand fields, it's already happened. It's already all there. That's where everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And we're here to learn some lessons. We either resist them or we embrace them and move through it and get stronger. So there's no in-betweens in these times that nobody really wants to face, but for whatever reason, they're here now. And we can move on and enjoy the transformation that's going to happen. The Earth needs a break. You know, the pollution in China is reduced. I don't know how much there was some numbers, huge, massive amounts, because they just completely shut it down.
Bad.
So the Earth's getting a break, you know, much needed break. And, you know, all the diminished flights and so on and so forth, and movement all over the globe. So it's going to be pretty interesting. But what do you guys want to share? Go ahead. It's pretty interesting.
Someone had a question in the chat.
Oh, Jackie, we live in Australia. If we cannot get the tinctures due to shipping issues, can we still safely do the clay and tea without tinctures? Well, when you're put in a position where you don't have all the tools, what are you going to do? You're going to have to do with whatever you have. We've been talking about this for 4.5 years. The tinctures that MFS makes are more superior than anything we could find on the market. They only get better with age. You can't say for anything else on the market. They have shelf lives. Ours don't. They actually do get better with age. So we have like a couple of liters of each tinctures almost over here and for ourselves, but that'll last quite a bit. And in tough times, you just reduce the dosages, so it'll last you longer.
Yep.
And be prudent and do a lot of washing, a lot of enemas. If they shut off the water supply, that's not going to be something that we're going to be able to do. And this is why when you're in a plugged up state, it won't be pleasant. It will not be pleasant. Enemas is one of the simple tools that you can do if you have nothing else. Just do enemas and do your breath work and do your meditations and so on and so forth. Stay grounded and all that. But so far, the shipping is still happening. Things are going a little slower because of all the hysteria going on. So hopefully the ones that have few orders that are coming in are going to make it out, and people will get them. But hey, anything goes right now. It's it's just crazy. Can they stop commerce? Well, they did it in China. We never thought that that would happen, right? But they did it, and it's an interesting time. So
It's funny how they initiated their social credit scoring prior to this, and then they removed the currency from circulation.
yeah,
That's what's coming. That's the end game, I think.
yeah, forced vaccinations, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But that in Wuhan, there where the this virus started, you guys know about the 5G they implemented there? They just turned it on.
Okay.
It all happened coincidentally at the same time. So
That's where their biolab is located there.
yeah, there was a woman who had a video. Somebody shared it on the Facebook group about how that this 5G attacks the oxygen in the body, and the body is unable to get energy transfer from the oxygen, and you see people just falling over, and it ain't from the virus. It's from the 5G people are being bombarded with. There's a few tests that have been shared over the last year where they've ran tests, just birds dropping out of the sky and so on and so forth. So is it the virus, is it the 5G, or is it both? Whatever it is, if you're not in a good healthy state, obstructive free state, you're going to have more chances of being susceptible to all this stuff. So the dry fasting state is the highest field strength state, and that state there, I don't know how many of you have traveled in a dry fasting state. Absolutely no jet lag or any of that stuff. The jet lag is actually a bombardment of the radiation, because when you're flying, the radiation levels are extremely high, way higher than any X-ray or anything. They're really high. There's a few YouTube videos people shared. They're measuring it with those Geiger counter things, and they're off the charts. And so when you're flying dry, you won't have any of that stuff, any of the nausea or anything. It's just incredible when you're in that state. And this is the one tool that we can use. But like I said, when your GI tract is plugged up, it's a different state than when it's empty. So the lifestyle, this is more, the art of subtraction is stay away from eating, 6-7 days a week. It's just way too much food, way too much. Eating 5 days a week is okay, but small meals, very small meals. Food is just for fun. It's not for sustenance. And when a body's all plugged up, it just keeps you from drowning in your own filth. That's all the food does. Because when you stop eating, we know what happens. The body goes into an elimination mode, and things are trying to move out. And because nothing is moving, the lymphatic system is so plugged up and so on and so forth, it can't move out. And we refer to that as drowning in your own filth, which is not a good feeling, and is what healing reactions and so on and so forth come from. If you're really plugged up, it would be a healing crisis. If you're master fast, it's a healing reaction, because we know what to do with the tools. This is not a time, like I said, to be in fear. We've been talking about this a long time with my friends and so on and so forth. And Some people just would shun it off and not believe it. But hey, like I said, hopefully it's a quick nightmare and then everything starts flowing again. But doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. You know. So if you haven't started master fasting, no time like now to start. You know, at least start on 3-4 days a week. So if you have food stocked up, it's going to last you a lot longer, and you're going to be much more calm, not being freaked out because all of a sudden you're cut off from your food supply, and your body's not happy being in that state of no food. The water's a whole nother ballgame, right? If I were to shut off the power supplies and all that, it's a whole nother ballgame, and that would be all out ludicrous, unless people, tap into the plaf and start helping each other, and that's what we would love to see. Because usually, when you look at all these natural disasters and so on and so forth, in times of people actually do help each other, because it's within our nature. We don't like to see each other suffer. We want to help each other, and that's what happens. All these floods and so on and so forth. You see it all the time. It's beautiful things happen that are not normal. When we're all busy in commerce and making a living, everybody's at each other's throat. It's a war zone. But when there's times of stresses and so on and so forth, people come together because money means nothing. What are you gonna do with money when there's floods and everything? You can't function or anything. You can't go to work. You can't eat. Money is useless. It's not gonna serve us. It's because it has no value. It's the people that have the value. We have the value, and is where the money comes from, right? If most of you don't know, all currency is created through our signatures. When you go out and get loans, then the banks can loan up to at least 13 times, maybe more now. I don't know. They probably changed it of what you signed for in the loan. That money is put into a computer digit. As a digit in the computer as soon as you sign the loan, and it's created out of thin air, and then they can loan at least 13 times more on that money that doesn't exist, and charge interest on it. It's just incredible. It's a debt system. It's a debt currency. So it's worth not even the paper it's printed on. Jackie, I'm hearing you ask how long does it take to completely clean up the GI tract? Several years. We like to say 9 years is a good start, but there's no time to, not a good time. The best time to start is now. You can't look at how long. It's just you start implementing the knowledge and work on yourself and do the best you can. Like I said, if you've never fasted, start on start on level 3, 4, and eat only a few days a week, and move from the best you can from there. People always wait till it's too late. We've been prepared for a while here, so it would be a blessing to be in a forced state, to be in the natural state for a longer period of time. Kitty, can it take many years? I think I haven't started yet, but even the beginning steps would be better than doing no FF. Yeah, exactly. I said, just start a few days a week. We suggest newbies start on 2 days, level 2, like 1 day liquid, 1 day dry, and move up from there. But if it would come to a time where we were forced and food supply was shut off, I would definitely start doing that, looking at 3 to 5 days a week and only eating a couple days a week. For some newbies, 2-3 days a week. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. Some people may not survive, not through starvation, because of the condition of the obstructions in the body. The older folks are actually more resilient because were grown up in a much cleaner environment than we were. The younger people would have a much more difficult time. The weaker genetics. But all that said and done, it doesn't matter. We have a lot of knowledge behind us now to be able to sustain ourselves. Like just the GANs materials that we've been sharing, you can live on those, just small sips of that. Meditation, your Qigong stuff. There's lots of stuff that if we were cut off from everything, we can sustain ourselves. We just have to tap into the trust of the soul and expand on allowing that energy to come through and interacting with that energy, because there's infinite sources of energy around us. Food is the actually lowest form of energy and actually robs energy from the body is much more than it actually gives. But good time to be breatharian. Yeah, that's what some people call it. We call it living on fields, plasma, light, prana, breatharian. It's that basically that word means that you're living on the air, which is not true to the understanding that we have. We're living on the actual fields, and even the air, right? We've been sharing to breathe less. We're breathing too much, and when you train the body to breathe less, the Buteyko style of breathing that we so much promote, you will see the energy transfer in the body works much better. A few people, quite a few people, when they start doing just the breath work, you will start going through detoxification symptoms just by practicing that breath work. It happened to me, and it happened to many people because it's powerful. It's an energy transfer. It's a building of energy transfer. That's what breathing less does. It builds up the CO2, and CO2 is key and essential for energy transfer. It's one of the key elements of this planet, right? You got the carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. We call it Cohen. Those are the four main elements that are consistent in all life forms on this planet. And people talking about sugar and this and that and everything. You can't function without carbon. Not on this planet. So all is well. We will make it through unless we get taken out. So fun times. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I've never seen the stores in the conditions they're in here. And like you mentioned, Steve, everything's emptying out. Same here, it's starting to all empty out. It hasn't emptied out yet because we have a lot of big stores around here, and but they're emptying out. They're being drained very quickly. All the rice stuff and beans, those shelves went first.
Yeah, the stuff that I wanted was last, so I was pretty happy. My mom's laughing. She's probably like, everyone's looking at you wondering, should I be getting grape juice?
Yeah. Grape juice, right? That's it. We got some dates, some. I had to get stock up for my mother and stuff. Some beans and rice and stuff like that, and extra dates and what else do we get extra? With some different types of pasta and cans of tomato for them. And it won't be fun, but hey, we got to do what we got to do, right?
Yeah, I did all that. I got all that stuff for the kids. They're not prepared for anything, so they'll be coming over.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I've been telling people just to stock up on seeds
Yeah,
because you might need to grow food.
Plenty of those.
yeah. You can sprout.
Yep.
You can sprout.
Potatoes are one of the easiest things to grow if you're not experienced with gardening and growing, and it actually has a lot of the essential nutrients that we would need.
Yeah, if you had to eat potatoes, there's that guy. He did what? Potatoes for a whole year, nothing else, just potatoes.
Oof.
And he lost all kinds of weight, and he felt healthier. Hey, you got to understand though, he simplified everything. Forget about the nutrition stuff. He simplified and just potatoes. I know potatoes are gluey in him, but that's all he ate. Potatoes every day for 1 year. You can find it on YouTube, the potato diet or whatever they call it. But hey, you know, once
Sure, I got some ordered, seed potatoes, and then I got an email. They don't have them because of all the floods.
oh,
Ooh, yeah. Very short supply, very small supply of seed potatoes this year.
wow. Can't you use any potato for seeds?
Well, you can, but
More expensive.
these were special ones. But even the regular ones, it's just the floods just wiped them out. I mean, totally wiped out the potatoes. For all our three biggest potato growing states, they probably 85% loss.
Wow.
So what I mean, the things that are being purchased now have been in the pipeline up to a year ago. So, I mean, it's draining now. It's with everybody hitting the stores, it's really getting exponential. It's going crazy.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything, you better move your butts.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah, you know, it's, like I said, let's say you're stocked up with food and everybody else runs out. Not a good place to be.
No, that's not good either.
You're gonna have to share.
Yep.
It's called forced sharing. But you know what I mean. This is the times where you need to be in service, and this is what counts.
I've
Because
noticed too that on the other side, like with the shopping centers are emptying out, but on the nature side, we have 1.5 acres and our block of land is abundant like it's never been. We have fruit on trees that haven't fruited before. We've had double fruiting. We have mulberries that have fruited in the autumn and they usually only fruit in the spring here. We've had two fruiting of the wax jamboos, of the dragon fruits, like everything's fruited twice. So we've had thousands of mangoes this year. So we've got freezer full, we've got chilies, we've got jams, we've got, so it's like the shops are emptying, but nature is actually saying, we're here to support you,
yeah, well, you're living in a luxury place. We don't have that luxury. We're still in the cold here. There's nothing growing. we have evergreens. We can live off evergreens, pine needles and stuff like that.
Well, that's come from, like, we've just had fires, droughts, and flooding. And yet, like I look at my block and I think, like every day I'm grateful, like the bees are flourishing. So I'm not sure how it's done that, but, it's, the earth is here to assist us, I believe. We just have to tune back into it.
It's infinitely abundant, but people are not used to living off the earth. They're used to going to the store, right? And purchasing whatever they need. In the wild, there's tons of stuff you can eat and live on. We got spring around the corner, and hopefully, hopefully. So it'll be interesting if it's anybody's in a cold climate when this crap happens. It won't be fun. It won't be fun. When you have kids, change your priorities. Yeah, for sure, Steve. Kurt, if they want us gone, is it worth freaking out stocking food? No, not freaking out. Just be prudent. If it's for a short period, you're okay. If it's for a really long period, there's going to be a time where it's going to run out, right? And it gives you more time to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to be without. That's all it'll do. Because many of us are just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, the fasting lifestyle, and just continue with the eating lifestyle. And comes time to be forced into the situation. It's not pleasant. So when you're ready, it's a much nicer place to be. And you don't have to go cuckoo because you have a foundation that you've been building on. So all is well. All is well. Let's keep sending out the path throughout this planet to everybody, and we'll make it through. No matter what, we'll make it through. I think there's plans of higher order that these wackos who whatever their plan is will not be allowed to implement fully. I don't think the universe will allow it, but we'll see. We will see what happens. It's very interesting times. Transition to start MFS. I've realized how little my body actually needs. We really do eat too much. Oh yeah. It's way more than most people would ever comprehend. You know, if you have a meal a week, it's already too much. Let's put it that way for the body to process. But we're not most of us are not in a position ready for the body to be able to utilize the infinite subtle energies, as I was explaining about the obstructions. So it gets tough to go through when you're not prepared. When you're prepared, it'll be a much easier transition. Less is more, always. Yeah, always. Kitty, I'm hoping USA doesn't shut down before my flight home. Oh, you're abroad, Kitty. You missed that one.
Not abroad. I'm moving from Alaska to New Mexico to get away from a bad situation.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, it's within the U.S., right?
Yeah, I'm just seeing all these countries go on lockdown and just a little worrisome, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they'll shut down flights within the country yet, but who knows?
I think flights from the U.S. to Mexico are going to be stopped. Yeah, I think it's announced.
Like, just think, pretty much every a big percentage of the population is talking about this right now on the planet.
Yeah, I know.
Like, just think about that.
WhatsApp is so active right now. I'm sure you guys.
It's just like, wow.
It's like I've never seen WhatsApp so busy.
This is going to be the direction to move humanity into disintegration and oblivion, or peace, balance, and correct conduct. There's no in between anymore. So let's keep that plow flowing.
Yeah, time to start whatever we wanted to do.
The ultimate good vs evil. You got a lot of warped thinking people out there, man. It's just like, oh my God, where do these guys come from? Like, there's no.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy, you know. I mean, it can be like a stupid decision, but really can have like crazy effects that they even do not, you know, comprehend. You know.
No, of course they don't comprehend. They're wacko. How can they comprehend it?
I mean, spreading a virus is like, in my opinion, is very easy. You can easily destroy nations, in my opinion, biologically. There are other ways, of course, but it's very easy biologically, and nobody can really find out the source.
It doesn't destroy any of the buildings.
Yeah. Yeah, there are many ways, and not to mention, then you have the the cyber wars and stuff. You know, like that's also beyond. I have no idea, but as we can see, it's very easy to hack, and you know.
Light and dark are the same one. Is just created by fear and pain. Yeah, it's you know, we have that choice to stay in the flow of balance as the universe and nature work, or we can, because of our free will, we can move out of that space and be in imbalance. And this is what we're seeing, right? From what we people call the evil or whatever. It's all of the from all one. It's from creation created the whole
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
So um,
But you know what? You know, the beautiful thing is that I totally believe in my heart that the truth always wins. At least that's what my life has shown me. My life experiences have shown me. You know, like I don't even need to look outside my own little journey. You know, in my opinion, the truth always won, and I believe it's gonna win again. Always, it's just it wins. So, um, and you know, every little step we do, we're winning if we are doing the right thing. You know, and you know what's right. You know the truth in your heart. So every little step will be encouraging to you. Why would we be afraid? We're on the right. We're on the right path. Um, yes, if you are not on the right path and you're confused and this and that, sure, you'd be afraid. But get on the right path that you know is true, and I am sure everything will start manifesting and changing before your eyes. You know, it's amazing. I mean, the power of God really is big. The closer you are to source, you can whatever you want, you know, to call. The closer we are, the more power we have, and the better we feel. So there's no reason to fear.
hi Tommy, Sarah, Brittany, Oliver, iPhone. Jump in, spill your beans.
How's everyone doing? Did we share? Not yet.
What's the emotions that you guys are feeling?
You know what? Last week, I had honestly intense cravings. Yeah, they come at night. I mean, I've been watching food recipes, and every week I try to do something new that I haven't done before, modified, cleaner version, but something that you know that looks interesting to me. I would modify it and play with it, and sometimes when I look at the food, it looks good, and I start craving a little bit. I'll be like, oh, it'd be nice to know, you know, like you know, mukbang, right? On YouTube. I love watching them cook, but I even love more watching them eat it. I think that's the best part. At the end, I'm waiting to see the reaction at the end of the video. You know, sometimes it's not a whole video. Sometimes it's just towards the end. They have a bite of whatever they made, and it's just this experience to watch someone enjoy it because it makes me enjoy it too. You know, it's really nice. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I got a little bit of cravings with that. I got a new batch of my favorite black olives, Kalamata olives. They come straight from
They're brown, they're not black.
Yeah, well, I guess they're not fully ripe, but they're amazing. They're amazing. They're like there's nothing in them other than sea salt and water. That's the brine. And they're straight from Greece. So there's not much in it, and I wash them very well. I wash them many times, and then ozonate them, and then I marinate them in water, 50% water, 50% apple cider vinegar, and just keep them in the fridge, 2 big jars, and they look so good. And yesterday I just wanted to eat some.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy. The cravings were so strong last night. But I woke up in the morning and I was like, thank God I did not eat because I'm not hungry. It's amazing. The time passed and I'm less hungry. Like, it's just amazing. When you wake up in the morning, there's no hunger. But at night, it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe the parasites are more active at night or something.
Don't worry about the parasites.
Yeah, I know, but like, yeah, they are part of this system, right? So
olives are an awesome food to store. You know, if you had Olives,
I love
an olive a
olives.
day, you can go a long way with one olive a day. Because it's
Yeah.
not high fat, it's about 20% fat, olives generally. And
Mm.
you know, you can just put one olive in your mouth and you chew it very, very, very well, and then you keep the seed in your mouth and you suck it. And that's what I use on dry fast, either olive pits or date pits, and what you'll see, the mouth stays all full of moisture, and you get the fields off the seed itself, because it's that those seeds contain the power of the tree. You have to understand that energetically. Tommy's asking, is cherry juice too powerful? For some it is, Tommy. I love cherry juice. It's just it's really expensive, and I have no problem with it. It's
Yeah.
some people gives them really strong diarrhea, but not for everybody. Some people they're okay with it, like myself.
Yeah, it's a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
It's quite. Isn't maybe the most expensive one?
No, it's
Cranberry.
expensive.
Cranberry is expensive too.
You can get $7, $8, $9 for a liter.
Yeah, I
cherry
think maybe
juice.
cherry is the most expensive. But yeah, cherry, my goodness. Every time I have cherry, I definitely decided the last time I had it, I did not learn my lesson the first time, I guess.
I love cherry
And
juice.
then after a year, I went back and I tried it. And I learned my lesson that the last time I drank it, I'm not buying that juice. You know, at work, I cannot sit still. The gas, it's crazy. I had to go to the bathroom nonstop.
Yeah, Jackie, in Australia, the prices are insane of juices, as I know. There's people who found some good deals if you're not worried about organic, like some are, and all that. And they did very well. So you can do a search on the book page. People have shared many different things.
Pomegranate is cheap. Yeah, but pomegranate doesn't taste nearly as good as Concord. You know, I have a client
Yeah,
in the
pomegranate's
past
good.
who bought, like, she stocked up on pomegranate juice because it was on sale. And then when she started the master class, she was like, "I'm so disappointed." I was like, "Why?" She's like, "It doesn't taste nearly as good as the grape juice."
Yes, it's a little more astringent. Some people have a challenge staying on pomegranate for a long time.
No, it's the taste.
You can mix them, right? You can mix it with some grape and so on.
It's not the astringency. No, it's the taste. It doesn't.
Whatever.
Cranberry is very astringent. You cannot drink it like that. Cranberry is very, very, very astringent. Like, I try to drink it on its own. If you mix it with some Concord,
like it's any of the juices that we recommend, you can mix and interchange them however you like, whatever's available. For me, the Concord grape is that's the one that we use. It's cheapest, and I don't get sick of it. So, but every once in a while, I'll throw in a little bit of pineapple, or I'll buy some pomegranate or some prune. Prune, you know, is a strong move. You don't want to be using straight prune. Or try a pomegranate or whatever, cherry. But mainly it's like we're stocked up with tons of Concord.
2.5 months worth. Not that
where are we here? Brittany, my emotions are intense, and yes, intense cravings. We know.
I'm like such a loon. Wait, okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
It keeps falling down. Oh God.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Yes.
The emotions are there, and allow them to flow, and don't worry about them. Embrace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing
I had a couple mishaps today. I got up and I took my tea and my tinctures, and then I did an enema. It was like about a half hour after, and I don't even know if it was that I didn't relax. I just kind of like laid down, and I released some liquid, but it kind of got stuck. So then I washed with more water, and that got stuck. Then I was resistant toward doing my pudding and juice, but I did it anyway, and I was just drinking my juice.
I don't understand that you keep saying it gets stuck. So where does all this liquid go?
it's like up here, and and my emotions just go crazy. But then I'm like breathing and I calm down, but it's just, it sloshes around in me like up here. At first I don't hear it, and then after like about like 3 minutes I just hear everything sloshing. And then I start drinking my juice and I just feel like bloated like all the way up to here. And so I did a couple more enemas tonight, and I didn't pass like all of them, but I passed like some of the like purple liquid and stuff like that. But I've basically have had this thing where I've got, what?
Are you peeing all day after?
No, that's the thing, is after I sleep for like a whole night, I'll pee a little bit more, but usually sometimes I'll go a day or two without even being able to pee at all.
It doesn't make sense to me. You're doing all these enemas and the water's not coming
And
out.
also you're drinking the juice and you're not peeing?
Once I drink the juice, I start to pee a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, you're drinking the juice every day, so how can you go without peeing for a few days?
When my juice intake is like lower, like 1.5 or so liters, because I feel sick, then I still pee, or like I don't pee. It depends. Sometimes it just depends on what day it is. Sometimes I'll be drinking my juice and I'm just not peeing. But when I'm drinking it, like I pee more. And sometimes like I just make myself, even when the enemas get stuck, I make myself drink it anyway. And then I have to do enemas after that, because if I just like don't do that again, or just try to do enemas again, everything will just kind of sit and it's like up to here, and I just feel my emotions are like crazy. Not even just, even if I'm just zoning my mind out, my body emotions are like insane, to the point where it gets so dark that I just get myself up and I just do something else, which is usually like an enema. But I've been having this thing with them getting stuck for like a long time.
I don't understand the stuck thing. I think you're just creating this illusion in your head.
I like want to say I am, but it like,
You know, yeah, you're gonna, sometimes you'll feel a little bit of water remains and slosh around, but it's gonna come out. Either you have to pee it or dump it out, one or the other.
yeah, the dumping is where, unless
You'd
an
be
enema
blown
and
up
water.
you'd be blown up like a balloon, Brittany, if this water wasn't coming out.
That's like the weird thing, is back like years ago, if I used to kind of get fluids stuck in me or just wouldn't have a bowel movement, I used to bloat. Now it's like I kind of do up here, but then it goes down the next day.
You don't look like you're holding water. Let me see your ankles.
Okay, my ankles aren't even swelled. They're just like that.
Yeah, you're not holding any water.
My skin is like very dry, is what I experience.
So just get rid of these thoughts. That's what's destroying you.
Yeah.
False, this false evidence appearing real, the fear. It's normal sometimes to have a little bit of water sloshing around after you do an enema or colina or colonic. It's going to come out. The body will dump it out. It's just the body wants to keep that water in there for extra time.
Are you
For whatever reason? You don't have to know why. It knows what to do.
Are you in pain?
When it happens, yeah, it gets pretty bad. Like, it's a lot of times if I leave,
How long is the pain, please? How long is the pain?
it'll kind of go on until I do like another enema and kind of massage and whatever I can do to start like moving things through. But if I leave it too long, then I'll wake up the next day and I'll be like all dizzy, and my chest will have pains. I have pains in my right side a lot from it too.
What do you think is the solution to this?
That's what I've been trying to.
No, we're confused. We haven't seen any human being like this.
It's emotional.
All the people that we have helped, I haven't seen anybody like this.
Sarah, I have days when the same thing happens. Yeah, this is normal.
You know,
Jackie, could she be holding on to something emotional? Of course. It's always the seed, emotion. This is why we're saying let this stuff go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. All these emotions and words and stuff come through. Embrace them and let them go. Send them back to the earth to recycle. Write them down, burn them, send it back to the earth to recycle. Keep writing it down, burn it, send it back to the earth to recycle. Keep practicing this. You have to let this energy go, because you're repeating it over and over. If we go through your post, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're stuck in this cycle, and if you don't allow it to let it go, you're never let go of this cycle. It's going to continue. and it's just going to put you in more and more confusion and more challenges in your experiences. You need to let it go. Do you have any traumas that you went through?
Let me
Experiences that you grew
tell
up?
you about that now. The colonic and the enemas and then washing your colon. You should
Yeah.
be having extreme, like, I don't, like, I really would like to know what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. I haven't, like, listen, I have seen thousands of people, right, with colonic.
That's honestly,
I don't
it's
see many
it's
people
not like
I don't see many people who have a lot of trouble. Some people have a lot of pain, but very few. It's rare. Maybe you're like, the same. I don't know. And when they do, they still come back because they know they are benefiting. So
Yeah.
if you want to do enemas, maybe, on the master fast, of course, which is part of the master fast, then maybe do shorter ones, like shorter and keep repeating. So it's not too much, and don't worry about getting stuck and this and that. These are all stories, like, really, you don't know what's going on inside. What I'm saying is be gentle with your colon. If you feel it's too much, be a little bit more gentle, do smaller quantities, and um, and don't worry about, I mean, seriously, you don't need to talk too much about your story and on the post. You don't need to. It's said that you're complicating it. Just, it's so simple. Don't let it become so. Uh, it's not important. Trust me. Let go of a lot of things. A lot of things are not important.
Yeah, the narratives, like, they really don't matter. It's that physical stuff that I've been encountering. Is like
Focus on that then, and when you write, just focus on that.
yeah, that's what's going on. Is like I don't know if it began when I went for the colonic way back and I was like holding way too much water in at once instead of just in and out, in and out. So then I worked hard to like absolve that and I started to pass some, but basically like every now and then I'll have a day where I'll get up in the morning and I'll wash and I'll pass like some like reddish brown fluid. But it's like I'd want to wash more, but then a lot of times it'll just hold on to everything. And it hurts like up here the most. And I don't know if it's going to do it now, but it's like up here, it like sloshes around everywhere. And if I leave it alone, like let's say I were to just like make, like do an enema and then make the bubbly and like dry fast. If I were to dry fast or do a 24-hour, like I wouldn't pee. I wouldn't like, usually you don't pass bowel movements on dries anyway, but it's usually not until I do another enema and I like do it the right way that I can even absolve some of the other fluid that was there. But as far as actually passing bowel movements or passing the other stuff out, even after I was eating all that time, it's like I wasn't. And so when I did a kolima yesterday, I kind of felt my muscles like relax and I was just washing in and out. And what mainly came out was like water. But I did a lot of water and everything still hurt like up here, but whatever was going on down here and all the fluid that was bloating, it kind of like loosened it up and just pulled the fluid out.
Way too much about it. Sometimes I do a colonic and I don't release much. Sometimes I release a lot of sludge. Sometimes I don't release much, just a little bit, but I keep going for like 30, over 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45, 1 hour sometimes with the colonic. I keep going, until
Yeah, you just kind of like move on and just, like,
when I get bored, I get up. I don't care about any of that stuff.
you just go on and like move to the next step. I think where it got bad was I absorbed like so much water and so much fluid like over time that it just started to rattle my emotions. Or I would wake up one day.
You feel enemas are not good for you, then don't do them. But you cannot do the master fast if you don't do them.
And at this point, honestly, with like where I don't even like to call them conditions, but where my state of alignment is at, I can't like not do them because I'll like, even if I was eating or not eating, I'll never go. Like,
if you want to do them, then you have to find peace with them. If you want to do the enemas and colimas and colonics, find peace with them where you trust that it's doing the right thing. If you are going to question them all the time, then you shouldn't be doing them, really.
I'm like all for them. I used to like them, like, or I still do actually, when it works or goes in, it actually feels very therapeutic to me. It's just, I think some of it was what he said, like some of it, there were certain times where I was in emotional havoc, or the environment was stressful, or I was just stressed. So then when I did it, and then I can't really muscle test in this time, even when I go like this, because everything I do, if I move my thumb up or down, I used to have like an energetic kind of field sense where if something wasn't right, or I would just zone out in meditation, and the thumb would not go up at all if something wasn't right. But now it's like, it'll just, I can't get like an affirmative or negative with it. So I don't do that as much. But some of it was energetic, which was when they started getting stuck. Like I could, like, I still can remember, like I noticed when my chakras or my energy was going counterclockwise.
You see how far out you are right now? You're spinning way out of control.
Yeah, I'm
You're
talking
just
to,
going way out. You just gotta
yeah.
follow the protocol. That's all you have to do.
I really am. Like I'm doing like tea and tinctures in the morning. I'm washing. I'm doing my juice and stuff. When I
Well,
take
part of the protocol is you've got to release these emotions. That's where your problem is. It's nothing in physical. It's not physical. There's nothing wrong physically. You are creating it. Your state of mind is creating it. It's manifesting in the physical. You have to fix here. You have to work on here, not the physical. This will take care of the physical.
I do though. Like I do a lot of the emotional work, and I just always find my like centered space, my happy place, and I don't really try to force it. I just kind of find what feels right. And if I need to go outside and just be in the sun, or just be like in the grass, then I'll do that. Or if I need to write, then I'll do that. Or if I have to, not even have to, I don't like that word, but if I go to the piano, I'll do that. It's just the physical like discomfort is like affecting my emotions. So then I have to just kind of see through that.
You was it a week ago or so, you mentioned something about you ate obstructive foods, then you took a bunch of magnesium. This stuff is not going to serve you. So why do you feel that you go to these extremes?
I think so. You can just put it there. Magnesium oxide. It was, and I actually felt like it was a no, like I shouldn't do that. Someone like had recommended it to me to try to just move something out of my bowels. She's like, you just need to just try to get something moving. She asked how long it had been since I'd actually had, well, I said like, no, I haven't had bowel movements. But every now and then when I do enemas, I'll start to release some of the like old liquid, or like the like brownish liquid and stuff like that. I did have one like moderate release a couple days ago when I wrote my posts a couple days ago after I got up, and I had like eaten like vegetables the night before, just to try to calm my body down after like I had some fruit. And then I took the tea and tinctures the next morning, and I did a baking soda enema, and the colon felt like when things like went in, I had like it went with peristalsis, so it started to kind of like wash. And then I drank the juice that day, and it felt a little better. Then I did my enema at night, and it got stuck, and it got stuck that night. Then the next day I went back on my regimen, and everything was just getting stuck.
Okay, so Kurt, you know, he said it right. If you can't change it, accept it. If you can change
That's
it,
what I have to do for now. I just kind of be present with it, and I'm like, okay, well, this is where I am, and I'm gonna try to get it to a better place, like with all that I can. Like I'll always do that, but if I'm where I'm at, I
accept
just
it.
have to be in it.
It's either you accept it and not change it, or you change it.
If I want to change it, that's what I.
Well, then find a solution, because this is not a solution, right? It's been a while like that. Find a solution, but whatever solution for a change, be happy with it. Accept that change too.
Yeah.
Don't change, accept, and if you change, also accept that. You know.
Yeah. Right now it feels like a not like
Complaining about something for hours doesn't really help you, or
yeah,
doesn't anybody else to help you. We can't help you. You will have to find your peace, right? You will have to find what resonates with you, what feels right. We don't know. We are stuck too. I mean, you're saying you're stuck many times. We're stuck. We don't know what to do. We really don't know.
and that's where it got difficult, because when at the beginning with the protocol, because that was, I mean, it always is what works. And when something would go wrong, I would know, like, either like sometimes it was an herb to grab, but usually it was like, okay, what enema do I need? Do I need more juice? And usually it's like it was just kind of like a flow. Okay, like I can do this or I can do that, or okay, it needs this right now. It feels like it needs this.
No,
It
no,
got,
don't go with that. The protocol is there for a reason. At the beginning, we tell people, you will feel this, you will feel that. Just follow the protocol. When your body is a little bit in a better, elimination mode, you can start listening to the body. At the beginning, unless
yeah.
it's like extreme pain, yeah, sure, listen to your body, but listen, like follow the protocol as much as you can, and then slowly you'll be able to connect and listen to your body better.
Yeah, I can't connect right now. Like if I were to try to connect because of the obstruction, it's gonna come from my mind or my ego or trying to pry at things. So I just kind of have to just like keep it consistent.
Follow the simplicity of the protocol.
Also, when I drink the juice, it's okay, right? Like because of being that blocked, when I drink the juice, I feel like really bloated. Sometimes my heart goes really fast after I drink it and I feel really, really tired. And that's usually when I'd want to do an enema, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour later. Is that okay?
If you feel extreme pain, I mean, yeah, follow the protocol, whatever. I mean, detox symptoms, you can follow the protocol. It's all there. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just follow and don't think too much. Oh, maybe I need this, maybe I need that, maybe, don't overthink it. I wouldn't.
Okay.
The protocol is very simple. Very simple. I don't know why you make it seem so complicated. It's not. If you're you're talking about you don't want to eat no more, but you can't handle eating now. What are you going to do if you stop eating for a while and then go back to food? We have not seen anything good from people doing it. You have to train yourself. You have to train yourself to fast and eat over and over and over and over again, like I've been doing for 30 plus years. And you continue doing that because it's a lifestyle. It's not an event. And it's
Yeah,
just,
and it's not that I don't eat anymore. Like I enjoy eating. It's just like I'm so like constipated and bloated that it just doesn't feel good.
It doesn't matter. You have if you come
But
to with like stage 4 cancer, I would say choose your lifestyle and live it. I don't care. I would not recommend that you do a long fast.
okay.
Yeah, I don't care how sick a person is. You'll have to live the lifestyle.
Okay.
What do you eat?
Well, when I was eating bad, it was really bad food. I mean, it was like fried stuff and everything like that. But I stopped doing that. When I do, it would be like
What was the last time?
the last time, like a week ago.
Yeah, you want to take care of yourself.
That was what happened. It was like overdoing all that stuff too. When my emotions would get out of control, that was like, I honestly would just call it a drug. Just a drug.
Yeah, you're coming on the board and all you're doing is focusing on all the negative stuff because you're emotionally not ready to let go of all that stuff. So you have to find within yourself why you're continuously holding on the old caca and continuously fill your body with stuff that it makes it more challenging for you. You have to figure out why. Otherwise, you're going to continue doing this stuff over and over. Nothing's going to change. I don't know how long has it been now, a few months? Absolutely nothing's changed.
Yeah, I think it was when I started encountering in like the bowel problems and the releasing problems. Because like back in general, just in my life, like I like enjoyed food, but I never really had an addictive cycle with it. Like, especially if I was on a health path and everything, or I'd like mess up here and there, I was still like, okay. And I would just kind of jump back on. I'd like really commit and I'd just be really motivated and excited about it. Somewhere along the
Go
line, I
back to
just,
that. Go back to that. Stop
I,
fasting.
I need to do that because it came to a point somewhere where things got bad in my life where I just kept, even when I was locked up, I just kept eating the food. Like it was like a drug. I would like seek it out. And I don't know where that came from because I never used to be like that.
I feel, maybe you're thinking that the master fast is gonna fix all the problems. It's a lifestyle. It's not gonna be a fast, oh, I'm gonna feel much better and that's it. You have to really, really change your lifestyle. If you're still going to junk food, it's okay. Many of us have been up and down. I'm not gonna lie, but you really have to understand that you will want to establish a strong, a stable lifestyle now, forever. You know, this is
Yeah.
a lifestyle. And that's it. I think you mentioned yesterday or today that you want to do level 4, right? Level 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just do that. Focus on that.
There's a couple triggers that set me back, I think, where it started.
Well, if you're eating fried food and stuff, it's going to set you back. Yeah, it's not going
That
to be.
yeah.
And
But that led to that.
you
It
think
was
it's
like,
the animals giving you problems with your bowels, all that fried stuff, it plays havoc in the digestive system
Yeah.
and the organs and stuff. And that's why you're in pain.
Ask any of us what would happen to us when we go back to eating chips.
You're just going in that
It's not easy
self-destruction spiral outwards. Nobody
that's
can
what
stop you but you.
I'm not saying we are perfect, but any of us who has eaten very, junk food between our long fasts, or just, between a few days of fasting, we feel it. It hurts.
even when I was healthy, if I would do that, like even a little bit, like I would just the
Okay,
next day I'd wake up and I'd feel and then I'd have a lot of water and do an energy tuning before I started my classes and just like get it out of me like immediately, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, thank God that's over.
You meditate daily?
Yeah, in the mornings, especially it gets like very, very like loud where I'm at sometimes. So, and then I'm also like very energetically sensitive, like more so when I'm blocked, like when I'm in balance, I'm actually more like closed off with things. But so that like gets hard. It's like sometimes in the middle of the night, I actually feel the most centered. Mornings are really hard for me. So I'll go outside and I'll try to do a clearing and stuff. But, meditating helps sometimes, like the middle of the nights I just feel the most at peace, which is strange because it used to just be like more
Any group meditations around your area?
no, but it would be a good idea. There's a yoga studio I went to like actually recently. I talked to the woman and she does like very, very slow vinyasa flow, and she was talking to me about like a couple like things that she had in mind because she'd picked up on my energy when I went there, and she said, whoa, something's going on with you. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she's like, she said, don't take that in a fear-based way. I said, no, it's you just picked up on it. But she was very graceful and she had some classes throughout the week. So I was thinking about maybe doing that.
Anyone has something to say to Brittany? Maybe we can help.
I can say I probably am feeling all the exact same emotions right now or prior, but if I open my mouth like I did last week, it's not good.
You resurrect the realities with words. Yeah.
And getting heady with like verbal or like vocabulary isn't gonna solve it. It's feeling and learning, and I suck at it. And I try every day to feel more, and that's where the resolution comes. And I have these little openings, and I get caught in my head, and I do it, and I do it, but then I'll have these moments where I sit and I feel, and it integrates, and I come to peace, and it's rare, and I know it, but it's a pattern you have to break to learn how to feel again.
Yeah, that's
And but I think for me, like I said, I made a kind of a goal is to not, if you make a goal not to write posts over, say, a paragraph or a few sentences, it kind of prevents that mind from taking off and spiraling outwards more.
yeah. When I tap into feeling like I did earlier today, when it came over me, I cried a lot, like really, 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 really hard. Sometimes my body's in fight or flight to such a degree where I can't even cry. But then when my emotions come through, I start crying.
Crying's great. Keep crying till there's no more tears left.
And,
Yeah,
and that'll keep the enemas flowing, probably, is the emotion.
yeah. I think actually the crying is the biggest release that I have right now, but sometimes I've cried and like it's like, or even in the past, it's just that dynamic where I got in trouble for crying. Even like recently, I was like talking with someone and they were just like, no being emotional or no tears, and so then went by myself and cried.
I think you have something going on with your parents, grandparents, and stuff with lineage, very deep, and you need to forgive them and let them go, and bring balance to that lineage, because what you're doing is not helping them either, because you're all one, and that
Yeah.
energy, you can add to the imbalances, or you can add to the balance of that whole lineage. So choose your path.
I need to get better because I love them. Like, they're really good souls, my family. They don't always understand all this stuff, but they're really good souls. My dad's like such a soft soul. He really is. And when I think about him right now, like, I can't think about him because I just cry really hard.
This is what's your problem. It's nothing to do with physical. It's your lineage. It's the emotions attached.
When I'm frustrated that I can't get better for them or be close to them and be bouncing around all vibrant and happy and just
What do you mean you can't? Who told you?
like Stu.
Where's the law that says you can't?
Of course you can. Of course you can. Do you think we are?
Like, wasn't blocked, and when my body was like working and the way I used to just
Forget
jump,
about the past.
I know.
Equal the present. You're here now. What are you gonna do?
And I miss singing. I miss like the way singing used to feel like in my body. And when I try to sing now, I just can't get the tones out, even when I'm just like fully going into it. Cause like everything up here that was my resonators, like all down here. And so that's hard.
Do you think any of us are like our families? Or are completely accepted by our families? And
No, we're very, very different.
Absolutely not. Trust me. Nobody in my family is vegan. Nobody in my family cares about, eating the way we eat or master fast. Neither in your family. Like, okay, your son was born vegan, but nobody does master fast as a lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, we're not, and Gino will, every time he sees them, he will tell them to fast.
I used to mention it when I was really doing well, like way back. I used to mention them too. I would just smile and bounce around. And I was like, Dad, do you want me to make you a tea, or you want me to steam some vegetables for you? And he'd be like, Nah, I don't really want that. It doesn't have any flavor. I was like, No, trust me. I said, I'll just do it. Like, just don't even ask what it is. I'll just try it. And then he would try it and be like, Oh, this is really good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go make them up some dinner.
Yeah, and I haven't been with them in a long time.
Who cooked in your family?
Hmm?
Who was the cook?
My mom. Italian stuff. But my mom's a really good cook too. Like,
yeah, most of the Italians are good cooks.
not always the right stuff for us. Like the first time I went vegetarian, like way back years ago, and she was like really offended when I wouldn't eat meatballs anymore, and it felt really bad. But I was like, I can't.
Was your mom offended when you 30 years ago?
Of course, you need to laugh more. So go into the memories where it makes you laugh and forget about all this nonsense.
This is okay. I don't know.
Help any of us, or especially you, and you're the one with the biggest challenges here. You know.
I don't know if you can hear that because it's far away, but it's like this. It's like
It doesn't matter.
there's this tissue, and then underneath is where all the fluid is.
Think it. It's moving. Movement is good use.
It's good. You want things to move?
Diane, I know you have something to say.
Pockets.
We got a nurse here, a retired nurse.
It like pockets in there though. It just stays, and then I get like more and more tired. And then I'll feel like I have to pee and I can't.
What do you feel, Diane?
What do I feel?
Yeah, from what you've caught on with what she's sharing.
The verbiosity. Brittany, I know you and I've talked personally too, right? And I kind of get where you're at because I've been there. Actually, I'll say as my thoughts come up. How old are you, Brittany?
27.
27. Okay, so I've got a daughter who's 35, and I'm going to share a little bit of personal stuff here. So I'm going to get emotional. She came to live in our suite because she had a big breakup with her boyfriend, and she went through hell. And her and I shared deeper than we've ever shared. It wasn't all this laughter and all. It was. I'm just thinking, wow, your parents maybe want to see the realness of you, not this. Like if Sarah came to me and starts, and she's just full of bullshit, and I can tell. I am her mother. I can tell.
Like
Stop.
Okay.
I can tell when she's not being real. You better believe your mom and your dad know, no matter what their own background is, when you aren't being in the present moment and feeling and being real with them.
They do. And like the bouncing around, that was way back when I was really happy and really healthy and was just really just present. And it was a lot of feeling and like happiness. But now, like when I've been there with them, I've broken down a lot. And when I break down and I cry and I'm like, Dad, I really need to talk to you. He's like, oh, what, are you crying again? Are you upset about something? He's like, do you want to go to the hospital? And that's what he usually does.
You got to ignore that because underneath that, there's his heart saying something else. You can say that too. I spent many years at this counseling school, and people say, students, well, I don't know what to say. And Dwayne, the main teacher, says, that's what you say. So whatever thoughts are coming into your mind, it's simple. Like Gino says, and life is simple. That's what you share. Like they're your parents, and it sounds like they're nice people. I mean, everyone has their issues. I mean, God, if I could tell you what my parents' issues were. Anyway, that's that line of thought. What else? Gino, you bring up the nursing thing. I mean,
I'm just.
Oh, okay.
All the other stuff we're more interested in.
But for sure, like especially working in emergency for 20 years, I've kind of seen everything. But what else? Yeah, Brittany, like you're brilliant and you've got all these tools. But master fast, like Steve says, just stick with the plan, and it now. I can see a beginner saying, it took me 6 or 8 months before I got into it and started doing stuff and had to read stuff, but you know it, trust it. And like Gino says, it's been the Facebook support group's been around for 4.5 years. It's tested, it's proven. So many people have got better. You don't have to question that. And like when you say, well, maybe I should take a tablespoon of plasma pudding and not the 2, fuck that. Like stick with the program. Or, geez, my friend, magnesium. No, Don't go there. Stay with the program. Like these guys say, it's really simple. My cat's reacting to my passion. Hey, Maya, it's okay. Let's see here. It's funny, hey, the energy there. She just moved. What else?
Yeah, quiet the mind.
Silence.
Yeah, you know, and Steve, like Steve says, yes, we see you spiraling out. Like for sure, you lose me. You lose everyone with your talk on your posts. I start reading your paragraphs. Yeah, and there's some good stuff, and then it's but and I also get, and I'm sure everyone gets your frustration, you know, and you can't get anywhere. You're stuck in this loop. You're stuck in some kind of a loop here. Everyone's trying to help you. It also reminds me of someone at Clearmind, where they were in a process like yours, and one of our rules were not to work harder than the client. Oh, I was in charge on this one, so we're all trying all these different things with this client, and then I said, oh, I said, oh yeah, we're not supposed to work harder. I just voiced that, and we all sat there for probably about half an hour at least in quiet. Then this person started to, I can't remember what they did, but we were doing all this stuff for that person. We didn't give them the space. It was all these different suggestions. No, just stop. So I remember saying, yeah, everyone stop. It's like we abandoned her. You know, you have to come up to your own bottom and rise up through your own ashes. You know, you've got to do it. You know,
Yeah.
You're nodding. What's the nod?
It's that. And see, it's like the mind's trying to get involved, and I'm just like not listening for a second.
Yeah, I mean, the mind will always want to get involved. It's stupid. Like it can destroy you.
And it's like when it's not, when everything's like really quiet here, it's like easier, because then for some reason my mind doesn't go, and that's usually when I have my better days.
And who's in charge? Who's in charge?
Me.
Yeah, exactly. You can stop your mind. Who's in charge? You can follow the protocol or not. Like these guys keep saying to you, you are in charge. No one else is. You know, we create our own reality kind of thing. You do. You're creating all this. But yeah, then you can create the other way. No matter what people say to you. And yeah, there's that, oh, what's your payoff? That's my clear mind thing too. What's your secondary payoff to all this? Like maybe this attention or something. There's some kind of secondary payoff you're getting. I'm not saying that negatively. You got to look into that. Don't answer that. You know, go home with that. You know, what's my and we all have secondary payoffs for our behaviors and stuff. You know, just stay with that. Stay with that. Stay with that. When you went teary a while ago, that's when you got real. That's when I connected with you. That's when I thought of my daughter. Your verbosity on all this talking, I distance myself, you know, and I think we all do.
Yeah, it's just that I think simply just after getting all the water stuck, I just feel like terrible, and I feel so uncomfortable, and I go through my day, and
All part of the process.
Yeah.
yeah, so just let it get stuck and just keep doing it anyway, right? Just keep doing it.
Let it do what it does. Don't use the word getting stuck.
Yeah, exactly. The water can't get stuck. That's another thing you're saying. The water's stuck and all these things. No, like I know pretty well, good anatomy and physiology. It can't get stuck. Like it's in your head somehow that all this stuff's happening with you. And then, like Steve says, you know, your emotional and your mental, your thoughts and your beliefs are wrapping up into these symptoms that are physical, but ultimately it's not physical. You know, like I say, you're stuck in this loop right now, and you have been for what, weeks or months?
Yeah. Is there ever a case though where like water, where it can get like absorbed? Because when I do the 1 colonic or just the enemas, and when they get stuck like that, unless like I do another one over time, and then I can like flush some things out. If I were to just leave everything alone, it all just kind of like sits there and it sloshes, and then I get more and more pains like the next day. And then sometimes I'll just be sleeping and my heart will start going and my chest will freak out and I'll just wake up from it. I'll be like, what's going on?
Yeah, because you're stuck in that cycle. You're doing it yourself. You are doing all that. All that stuff you just said, you're doing it.
Keep
You are doing it, and therefore you can change it.
Yeah.
I don't even look. You know what you asked me? You said, "Is there ever any case?" You're looking for this one little incident, like for like why? No, you know, like stop it. There's that funny
Nobody
joke
like
about.
you. Nobody like me. And nobody like Ryan. And nobody like Diane. Nobody like Steve. And nobody like anybody. Everybody's unique. If it is to be, it's up to me. When are you going to make the changes? When are you going to decide to let go of the past? And when are you going to decide to stop assaulting yourself and your body and your mental state? When are you going to decide to take charge and move into peace, balance, correct conduct? When? Now is a good time to start and let all the past go and understand whatever comes up is all part of the journey. All of it. It's all part of the journey.
Embrace.
And when your mind starts going, go meditate.
Yeah.
Stop, catch yourself, go meditate. Put that aside.
Brittany, you remember last time I listened to you on Zoom and I said to you, did you watch Peter Crohn's with Curvin Ray, the instant healing that he did with him? Have you watched that?
No, I actually forgot.
You really need to watch that. Because you see, let me ask a question. Who can help you?
Only you.
There's only one person. We here can only support. But the only person that can help is yourself. Now that's just the fact that you have to take on board, and you try that. But then what you do is completely overthink and overanalyze every single aspect that happens. And what is our goal here? Simple. Don't do it. Don't overthink. Don't worry about a little bit of water this and a little bit of this and a bit of that. Let the process just happen. But you got to be willing to do that. And that's what I'm saying to you. When you watch Peter Crone, when he says, I can see it behind your eyes that you're ready to go. When he tried to support Curvin Ray in his healing process of releasing energy. And he did that. He saw it in his eye, you're ready to go, we can go. But whatever we tell you here, you're not ready to go. You are not ready to go. And you're the only one that can change that. Sometimes from an external influence can undo a knot and help you to release. And that's what sometimes happens. But if you pin your hopes on that, you will look forever. You can't do that. So you just got to stop overthinking this and just let the natural process take care and trust in the process, as we all say. But you need to be really in a situation where you're the only one that can help yourself, nobody else. And look for triggers, but don't pin your hopes on it, because think about it, when you were little and you couldn't understand certain things that your mum and dad told you, all right? That's how you have, I don't know what it's telling me. And then 2 years later, oh, why did I ever question that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just when things just happen because they're supposed to happen the way they happen, and that's all you got to do. But you're going, as Diane said, the storm in a teacup, you run around, you make yourself mad. You're going complete circles. Stop it. Just stop it and just let the process take care. And be aware that you're the only one that can help yourself. And that it's that simple. But you see, you try to be even expressing yourself the way you do. You're looking for straw homes everywhere. You're looking that somebody can touch you with a magic wand and bingo, all opens. That doesn't happen. That's utopia.
That's usually something I don't do, and that's when I know I'm in a fear state, is when I'm doing that all the time. It's like I'm in a fear state and something happens where I'm in pain, and then I start just jumping around, like looking
And
for something I
what's
shouldn't.
what's the best thing to get out of a fear state? Surrender to it.
Breathe
Let it
into it,
happen.
in it, and be it, and then
Well,
transmit.
Trust it.
if
Yeah.
you can accept that it's the way it is and it cannot happen any other way, then that's the way it is. And surrender to it. And after surrender, find grounding, things that make you feel good. And trust the process of here master fasting to do that. But if you find, as I said, in other ways in your life where you find grounding, then you will understand. I mean, when I'm saying grounding, you know, and put a purpose on your groundings. Because you see, you run around without a purpose at the moment. You're just trying to follow everything and every little glitch, and then something happens in your body and I can't explain it, and I need an explanation. I want to know exactly what is this and what is this, and all that occupies you completely, clogs you down. And you will never, as I said, as Diane said, rise through your ashes, come out of your ashes.
Yeah,
Because
and
that's where you're in.
sometimes it's like I kind of can feel like what's going on, but then I like let go of it and just move to the next step. But when the pain gets so bad, it like overwhelms me to the point where I can't figure out what the next step is to be. Like when it all rises up and gets stuck in me, I can't calm my body down.
A little bit of pain is okay, but too much pain, then stop what you're doing. But if it's a little bit of pain, is normal. Trust me.
That was the problem. That was the
I
problem.
felt like I wanted to pass out. I have thrown up, I think, once doing enemas. It happens, okay? It happens.
That was the problem. There were times where my intuition was kind of telling me, stop, leave it alone right now. But I just went and I would do more. And that was not good. Like I would keep persisting.
If it's extreme pain, stop. If it's a little bit of, discomfort, that's part of the journey. You know?
Yeah, that's usually fine with me. There were times I just pushed everything. I made if I prepared an enema and something didn't resonate with me like the way I did it, but I would just do it anyway, it was like almost like I was like half in it. Or I would encounter a problem and then I would just go.
Even if you're halfway in it, stop it. If it's extreme pain, stop it.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, then stop it. No big deal.
You're using acupressure points?
I'm still learning them, but I use the ones like over here usually.
Yeah, well, this point here on the hand, when you open the thumb and the finger to open the hand, it's the lowest point when you open it and the highest point when you close it. That point there is a good pain point. You just go in with your thumb and just rub it counterclockwise, clockwise. Just keep pressure on it and breathe into it. You can do either hand and learn about the other points, to assist the bowels and so on and so forth. There's a beautiful website with all the acupressure points that we've shared, and you keep working on those. And let's just keep in your mind, whatever you're going through is part of the process. So what do? We use the tools to pull us through.
Sure.
Doesn't matter who, where, when, why, how.
I feel, yeah.
We use the tools to pull us through. And if we're not living and loving it, go find something that you do. If it's eating junk food and you can live it and love it, do that. But there's no reason for you to be here because we don't support that.
I feel honestly you are putting a lot of your time and energy, your attention into, the Master Fast Protocol is very simple, right? But I feel you're putting way too much attention into it.
Into all of it.
Many of us are full-time workers or whatever, we're busy full-time.
And that's where
many projects actually.
That's where I'm impressed is like this. It got so overloaded, like it really, really did, to the point where
no, that's here. Whatever this state you're in is serving some purpose for you. That's what you have to figure out.
I need some.
It is serving a purpose, and if you can't figure that out, you are never ever going to move out of it.
Exactly.
I will, and I need to move like forward, but there have been times where it's gotten so
You
bad.
keep, no, because look at what
No
you're doing right
buts.
now. You're not accepting what I'm saying. You're not even giving it a second thought. You're moving right into something else.
You're doing
Gotta
it to yourself.
slow down. Slow down. Just slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
Stop this spinning. It's crazy.
Just the times
You're
where
gonna end up dead.
Stop.
Swear to God, you'll end up dead.
no, really, just the times where I like blacked out. That's where I
I
worry.
know, but you're going. You just said last.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again. Boom, boom, boom.
Last
if,
week.
if it's extreme pain, we want you to stop what you're doing. But if it's not, it's part of the journey. If it's like a little bit of like whatever, if it's discomfort, let it go. Okay, because
Okay.
it's part of the journey. Detoxing
Yeah, but-
can be uncomfortable.
Figure out what it's serving, okay? Because it is serving some purpose for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everything has a purpose.
Just last week, you said you're eating fried food. That's one of the worst things for bringing pain to the body. So, but you know, you
didn't focus on that one. You focus on many other
and
things.
you come to Master Fast page and you caca all over the page. That's all you do.
It's okay.
So, like, we can't help you if you continue doing that. We can't help you. We can't.
Yeah, but
It's
you
an
see,
impossibility.
you put your attention on so many other things, but you didn't put your attention on the junk food.
I think it was shame and like fear of actually admitting it or talking about it. But that was the thing. I wrote a message to my friend where I unleashed all of it. And I was really, really upset about that more than anything. But I was afraid to post it on the page. So I like didn't.
See, too far out again.
No problem.
Your friend, you got to go inside. Stop going out. Just bring everything inside.
So you know
Through
that.
the friends, stop writing to the friends. You need to come inside.
Yeah.
If you don't get inside, no chance.
So you know the answer. You know the answer. You know it's
And no projecting. You can't escape yourself by projecting. You just can't do it. You just don't do it.
So you know the answer. You know it was the junk food.
Yeah.
Okay, not
It was always the food. It was always that.
yeah, it's okay. You're afraid to share it, but it's fine. You know, many of us have done so many mistakes, and we didn't share everything. It's okay. However, like don't put your attention on everything else that is not junk. Like it's the junk food that causes a lot of pain.
It causes the other stuff to.
Focus on that. Okay, what am I gonna do about that? How am I gonna change my this bad habit? And change that habit, but don't focus too much on the protocol. And the protocol is simple.
The protocol's simple. You need to keep busy all day. You need to find something that you love to do from morning till night. Keeping yourself busy. As Tommy says, do you have a rebounder? Any form of exercise. Rebounder is great. You got to do something to get away from this monkey mind, to keep yourself away from this monkey mind. And if you're going to continue returning back to where you were, which the things that cause you pain, there's nothing we can do for you because you're doing it to yourself over and over and over again. And then you're running to the hospital and you know they can't do anything for you. I don't know. It's a horrific cycle that you put yourself into.
Yeah, you have to be busy doing something that you love. Go find a job. I think you're strong enough to work. I believe you're strong enough to work. Go get a job. And slowly build yourself, okay? Build yourself slowly. Go see your parents. Make peace with them.
Live life. Love it.
And, know, enjoy your parents. They're great people. You love them so much. You don't have to live with them. Support yourself. Go
and
work.
honestly, when I'm healthy, like that's kind of how I am. Is like I'm playing music or I love working. Like even if it's like a job like at a cafe or something where I might get triggered by food or whatever. I don't care. Like I just like to do that stuff.
Exactly. Go back. Go get that done, please. You have to get your life sorted out. You cannot be the disabled human being. You're not disabled. You have so much energy in you. You have so much to give. But put your attention in the right place. Listen, I obsess with stupid things sometimes as well. Everybody has something, okay? Everybody has something. He does have many things. I have many things, and we obsess over them, and they're stupid. Don't let it take over your life. Don't let it control your life.
I should probably just stay on the regimen and just like work anyway. There are times I've had meetings where I've had to go to the past couple weeks though, and then we'll be on the road and I'll just kind of fade out and I'll start getting like chest pains even when I'm napping, and then I have trouble like moving, and so then I have to go lay down, but then I get up again, it's like that kind of thing. But I'm just
Why,
past.
why do you reference the past always? Like this is something that you're imprinting in yourself that's going to be happening all the time.
Yeah, just like move on and just do the regimen, just move forward. If I don't feel good, then it's just going to be a process, but just get over it.
Part of the process. If you're living and loving it, it's part of the process. If you're eating fried foods, it's not part of the process. We can't help you.
Yeah, you just have to pay the price, and you have to be responsible when you eat junk food. It's okay to eat junk food, but you just have to be responsible about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fact that, you know what, I screwed up, and that's why I feel like crap. And now I know what to do. I'm not gonna do it.
And you recognize it. And I know that
And
in physiologically, like till it's like out of me, the cravings are still like really loud there. Like, I mean, it's like you don't want to let go of it, but you just,
it takes days, my love, sweetheart. It takes days for me washing my colon every day. It takes days to get back on track. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be patient with yourself. You just screwed up a little bit, and you have to pay the price a little bit, maybe a few days, maybe more.
And yeah, and I think that's another thing that weaves in where he was saying with the mind is like, I'm like, if I'm really, really blocked up, I can't be like, I want it out now and then try to rush it out now. You just can't, like, you just have to accept responsibility for what happened. And then like,
we all went through that. Many of us have gone through this. It's not easy. And your mind will play games with you the day after you eat junk food. It is, I don't care how much you wash it, you will still have some inside you, and you will have cravings, and you will want to break it again with junk food because it's addictive. So you just have to be patient with yourself. We say patience, persistence, and self-respect and love,
Consistency.
Very important. Yeah. Patience, consistency, and self-love. Okay. 3 of them. Very, 4.5 years. I still sometimes have difficulties, I have challenges. And I still have to have cravings sometimes, like last week. But you can get through this for sure.
What are you going to do if there's no more food access? What are you going to do?
Yeah, forget.
I would actually, it would like, the option would just be off the table and be like, well, it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know. I think that would actually be not funny for some people that like to, like do healthy, like whatever, like cooking and stuff like that. But I think for me, it would probably be a good scenario.
I wanted to share as well. I remember Lisa Bells. She had also very tough colon washing at the beginning, right? Right, Lisa?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was very painful. For about a year, I want to say, close to a year. But it's not like that anymore, so just have to push through it.
How long did you go without like having bowel movement at all? Was it a long time?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. Before the fast?
Like before or during, did you ever go through a time where your bowels just like weren't moving?
Yeah, it was anywhere from up to 3 days.
That's before the master fast. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
During the master fast?
Oh, I had massive diarrhea for the first couple months.
Wow.
And I was taking the plasma pudding, but it was my body just now it's more regulated. It's much more regulated.
And that's like the master fast at times it helped me like a little more, like when I was able to start passing some of the plaque. But before master fast altogether, when I was like in the hospitals, that's I think where this got really bad. It was probably like 4 months of having no bowel movement whatsoever. Like 4 months of like
past, Brittany, we don't care about the past. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Where do you want to go? The past is not equal to the present or the future.
One thing we know, Brittany, is that the body rebalances itself. Okay, we don't care how imbalanced you were.
We've seen the worst of the worst.
Yeah. The body can reverse the damage. Just have faith.
Okay.
Elaine was here last week. She had 6 years in bedridden.
Many people are lacking faith, and I can see this is lacking here.
You think you have pain? You're not bedridden. Look at you. You're moving. You're talking.
when we have faith, yeah, when we have faith, we don't ask questions. Just go directly from our hearts, you know, and follow whatever we choose, you know.
Mhm.
Whatever we have faith in, just follow it.
The
If
faith
you
is,
have faith in the master fast, then please follow it with no question.
the master fast is the roadmap to allow you to gain trust in your soul. It's you don't have to trust anybody else but your soul. Your soul is doing all the work for you. And once you go through the experience of seeing how those fields transform the physical body, the trust gets built up more and more and more. And you go, my goodness gracious. If you've watched all the interviews of people and you've seen the before and afters, there has to be that faith there, or don't do it.
Yeah, are you watching enough videos?
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah, please watch every day, because
a lot
it's
more.
like you're not believing yet. You know, you still don't have enough
You're focusing
faith.
on the past
You
and
know, you
all
don't
your
have
challenges.
enough faith in what's happening. I mean, there are many people here. Kurt, for example, before he started, he did for 6 months. I think you said you were watching videos, right? For 6 months before he started, he watched videos, and then when he came, he was ready. He didn't ask questions. He was ready. I mean, I could tell from his first post. I was like, somebody has done his homework.
Yeah,
Like it looks like he has been here for a long time, but he you know, I just see
studying for a while. Yeah. It's simple.
Yeah.
You got to do your homework. You know, I did my homework through the experiences of failures and successes and failures and successes over and over and over and over and over again. I wish someone would be able to hand me a roadmap. Here, this is what you need to do. Follow it. But I didn't have that luxury. So, you know, it's this lifestyle is simple. It's very simple. And if you continue focusing on how simple it is and where you want to go, you will come to the realization how simple it really is.
Yeah, like it really, you don't need to ask questions. It's very simple. Unless you're really confused about something, ask. But otherwise, keep it quiet. Seriously, just share. Oh, I had a beautiful day today. I'm living it, loving it. Just, you know, simple, simple. That's all we want. We want to hear. We want to make sure you're doing well. That's all. If you
Yeah,
have questions about the protocol that is very confusing, please ask. But otherwise, we did our best to make it, you know, as clear as possible.
because I do believe in it. Like, I know it's miraculous. I think maybe the thing I have to let go of is, like, so if I go through a day and I do some of my enemas in the morning and I'm drinking, and then I do them at the evening, but I get water stuck or don't pass anything out my bowels, should I just let it go and then go into the next day? Not just like keep washing till I get the fluid out and then get more stuff out.
Bulima board?
Yeah, I do.
And you're doing 5 gallons?
A little bit less. I also wanted to ask people too, like, what's your best, like, efficient method for just, like, filling, like, getting enough warm water, like, a warm, pure water into the gallon thing? Like, do you get it from, like,
Into the pail?
under the sink filter thing?
Shower filter.
Shower filter would be
Simple.
the easiest.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
They're cheap, you know. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Like the shower head thing, right? Because we have
Yeah,
one of those.
don't go cuckoo with all this spell. You have to have the spell. Don't put your mind there. I've been doing enemas with tap water for 30 years. You know, I do things to it. Put a filter with this, some charcoal if you don't have, put some baking soda. Do the best you can. As long as it's potable water that does not light in a fire when you put a match to it. It's okay, because you know, we're using it to wash, you know, just like you're taking a shower,
Yeah.
you know, and everything else. Don't overthink it. When you're living and loving it, you're continuously putting the body in elimination mode every week for whatever days. And that's the key, what everybody misses out there. That's the key, to keep the body in the state of elimination every week, continuously for the rest of your life, a certain amount of time of the week. If you're not doing that, I don't care what diet you're gonna go through. We've all been there.
That was, yeah. And even before like doing this, that was just always was the most important. It was like if my bowels didn't move for like a day or 2 or 3, I was just like, oh my God, now everything's just messed up. Like, cause I always, and
Hey, I
as,
got a quick question, practical. How much juice do you drink on your full MFS days?
sometimes it's like 1.5 liters. Sometimes it's 2.5 liters. It just depends on how I'm feeling.
Consistently, that's what you drink?
Yeah. And then there's some days where I like go back on the juice and like get worried about drinking more of it because I just don't feel good. So then I'll like have
What's the least you've drank in a day?
the
That's
least
not
I
like not a dry.
like a cup, or sometimes there have been days where I didn't drink the juice.
Well, that's what I was thinking is maybe if you're drying yourself out and the enemas are holding in, that might be connected. So instead of focusing on I'm holding the water, I can't get it out, maybe write in the post, oh, I'm only drinking a cup a day. Why am I doing that? Or something.
So that too, but it's
No, that it is. Trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, we are very strict with the protocol for a reason. We have seen so many people dehydrate themselves and not release. If you're not drinking enough according to as per the protocol, you're not going to release nearly as much, and you need to release more than other people even, right? Because you're more obstructed than the majority, maybe, I don't know. Please.
The population is 20 or 30% dehydrated.
If you cannot
on whatever diet, and never mind the drinking, but what about the fried food she ate the week before?
Yeah.
That's not going to help.
Yeah.
It's not going to help you continue doing that.
We tell people if you cannot drink 2 liters, don't do the master fast. We tell people if you cannot drink your juice, it's time to break your fast. It's that serious. You have to move your bowels through drinking. Well, it's one part. It's one part of the protocol to help you
Washing
release.
from above, washing from below.
That's what I have to do, and that's why it got so bad, because I don't remember the last time I really was like moving things through. And there were times I was drinking a lot of juice. There were the times I was eating. Then there were the times I was washing and water was getting stuck. So it's like everything's like in me.
Yeah.
So that's
all right. It's time for silence. Anybody else?
sorry.
We move on, and let us know when you're ready to commit. Because
yeah, I mean,
we're going to be going in circles here.
We found where things were off a little bit. Work on getting back on the protocol.
Yeah,
and just
you're not living and loving it. That's what it comes down to, right? You're just not doing it. So make up your mind, and everything will be good. Does Conquer from Concentrate work for anyone? Yeah, it works.
We do
the Welch's is a mixture of juice and from concentrate. It works great.
Juice and juice from concentrate.
We've had people who use just from concentrate juices, and it works. So as long as when they reconstitute it, it's the ratios are close to what the juice is at. They work because they're cooking it together, and it's fine.
That would be more like a syrup, right? The concentrate.
No, it's reconstituted.
I mean, no, I'm saying when you buy concentrate, just concentrate. Just the concentrate, not the reconstituted.
Is it reconstituted, Tommy? You have to, or you're buying just the concentrate and adding water?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I go to Costco for my juice, and there's stuff that's 100% that's not from concentrate. And then I went today because I'm starting. I'm Simeon Thomas on Facebook. I go by Tommy. I went to Costco to pick up juice today, and the juice I was hoping to get wasn't there, but it said 100% Concord grape juice from concentrate. So
okay.
I love grape juice, so I'm going to be checking.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Okay.
As long as you're enjoying drinking it. If you don't enjoy drinking it, then it's not going to happen, right?
No, I do. I picked up a bunch of tart cherry juice today as well, because one of the reasons the people at the store told me that the grape juice might not be there, it might be a seasonal thing. And the tart grape juice, excuse me, the tart cherry juice that I picked up today is actually made in my state, and it's not from concentrate. So I was kind of happy about that, but I actually wanted to check into that as well.
Mix it together or whatever, still till you're liking. That's all fine, but it's what's going on now with this virus thing. It's whatever. It's everything's going cuckoo out there, and nothing's making sense. So the Concord grapes are around all year in abundance. The juice, like because like Welch's is a massive conglomerate of many farmers. I can't remember how many, and that's just one company. And I'm sure Welch's makes it for other companies as well, and they name brand it because they're so big. They've been around for 100 years, over 100 years. They were
The exact same ingredients.
they were the guy who started Welch's invented grape juice to be able to pasteurize and store it. And so it goes back a long ways. Edward Casey, was it Edward Casey?
Yeah.
The Sleeping Prophet. In one of his readings, he recommended Welch's grape juice for something. I can't remember what it was, but so you know, don't fuss over these little things. We get whatever we can in certain situations. Some people can only get whatever and use it. You know what I mean? Some people have the luxury of many different types, organic, this, that. Like over here, we have whatever you want, as much as you want to spend. And I go for the cheapest. I go for the Welch's. It tastes great. Works. You know, like.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Like when we started sharing this, you can find juice all the time. Now, you got to be careful. You'll go days and there's nothing on the shelves because people think that drinking Welch's grape juice or Concord grape juice or whatever is going to fix all their problems in life. So they're just drinking this stuff because they hear about Masterfast. It's just ludicrous. They ignore what Masterfast is all about. Masterfast is not even about the juice. And they just go and buy the juice because that's what they hear. Oh yeah, you got to drink. You got grape juice. This is Masterfast. No, it's not Masterfast. We use the juice as one of the ingredients to this lifestyle. But it's interesting how things happen. I can assure these sales of Concord juices went up like crazy in the last 4.5 years. So, everybody ready for this huge shift that we've seen that we're in the middle of here? It's getting very interesting. Very interesting.
I'm stocked up on grape juice, so and lemons and knowledge, I should say, actually, because that's what gives the calm.
Exactly. Without the knowledge, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You won't know which way to go. The knowledge is going to keep you in balance, in peace, you know, and be able to go through the stress times much more efficiently, be able to help people.
How long do you think this will be going on? Do you think cities will shut down?
The way it's going, it probably will.
North America?
If it continues.
I'm hearing 2 weeks of lockdown.
China's 3 months. China's over 3 months into this. No way, 2 weeks.
But I think I've heard different degrees of change, but 2 weeks of being at home.
Yeah, well,
we're not nowhere near where China was at the same point. So we got a long way to go.
Canada, I think I heard today was over 200 cases now. Italy like skyrocketed the cases. Iran.
5% mortality in Italy. It's crazy. They think that's a different strain. That and the one in Iran.
Well,
it's funny how it got into Iran.
They do mutate.
Yeah.
But, you know, like we were talking earlier, this 5G thing. What's this 5G doing? Is it helping it mutate? Could be.
Yeah.
That's military crowd control frequency. That's why you get people and birds dropping dead.
Yeah.
The 5G thing is really unbelievable, and so is all the cell towers that are up. And the whole landscape has changed. Every building has these spikes coming off of it. Every water tower has all the cells along the perimeter of it. And there's all different types of poles too of the towers. There's some that just look like giant monoliths, just simple poles, but really big. So I've got a lot of organite. I'm getting more. And yeah.
Just be ready. We have the knowledge to help many people, and that's what we've been training for. So if you're not ready now, never will be.
Yeah.
Because
I'm going on full master fast Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I'm going to do it.
Go to a higher plane. Leave the matter state behind.
No damn fruit in the store today anyway, so what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
The people who support this, like, are they thinking, oh, okay, yeah, shut the borders down so we don't die of corona, but like, how about we starve to death? Like, I don't get it.
Shutting the borders is not going to stop the spread. It's not.
Too late.
It's fields. Once this virus is it's made to in a position to infect. It's the fields that are infecting. It's not the physicality of it. The viruses are built on emotion, and emotion of the abuse of what we do to Mother Earth, to the animals, to the plants, to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These viruses also have a soul, and they're not a living entity per se as we are used to seeing. They need a cell host to, to proliferate, to multiply. And it's basically like we were talking before. It's similar to like a parasite. It needs something else to live, to continue. But they will go for hosts that are vulnerable to this stuff. When we raise our field strength, we don't have to worry. It's just like any other virus. Yes, this one here may be a stronger virus, and it may be able to mutate and get stronger and so forth. It's still the same principle. You're not gonna change the principles of how to allow these things to mutate. If you're in a filthy state physically, they're gonna be able to latch on, and then I hope you have your GANS materials or your ozone and all the other things, because
So it's physical and emotional. It's all.
Always, it has to be.
Yeah. Both. So
But,
it's both physical and emotional.
Because the dry fasting state with a clean GI tract, I cannot see these things being able to latch on. I cannot fathom. I don't think it's possible. We may be wrong. I don't know, because this may be something new. Yeah. But this is going to be your best chance, because this is, from what we know of viruses from all the past, this is the way they work. And you don't have a problem with this stuff when you're in a high field.
They also come in waves too. So this
Yeah.
is only the first wave. I think the one in 1917, that was 3 waves. That was over what, year and a half, 2 years. So this could be a long-lived process.
Yeah.
Well,
They weaponized it.
after living the MFS lifestyle and doing full MFS, you see the power in what you just said, Gino. You can talk about it, but when you've done it and you feel it, it feels like the ultimate truth, and you know it to be so because you know it in your cells. You know it at that deep level.
Well, we're moving in that direction. The ultimate truth, who really knows? But we're moving in a direction where we know that magical things happen, and we don't see those magical things happen at this degree with any diet. They're all limited. So um, it's a wonderful place to be when you're going through the experiences and seeing and feeling the changes happen. You can't really explain it in words because it's awesome. Soul speaks no languages. Soul speak all languages without words. Sorry. Yeah, it's interesting times. It's we don't know what to believe out there, but it's too much of a coincidence with this 5G being implemented in Wuhan, and that's where the corona started, and then they have labs there and all kinds of stuff. Who knows? We don't know.
Did you hear about Event 201? Well, it was a sponsored by the Gates Foundation, and there was the UN was there, WHO, I think the CDC from the US, and it happened. It was all about what if a pandemic happened, and they ran this event in Wuhan, China.
Oh, I think.
And Gates just happens to be a major investor in the patenting and vaccine, right? I watched it today. It was the first time I'd actually seen actual footage of it, and it was stunning, absolutely stunning. And they played it out. They even had a fake sort of CNN network, so they literally did role playing, and they had material to go along with it, and they called it the Global News Network, GNN. And it was
just resigned from all his seats on all the boards he was on. Something's going on with him.
But I think all that relates back to 1992 when the United Nations signed off on Agenda 21.
Yes, sir.
To control world population. And at the end of the day, I mean, it all takes you need to prepare. And as they state in the document, that the governing power, whatever that is dictatorship, it's a military regime, whatever it is, has to prepare and take care. And then really when you look at it, so how do you want to control world population? Humane. Well, the Chinese doing it, or did it, for one-child family, but you tell the Western people that they can have only one child, they tell you get fucked. You know what I mean? So simple as that. So that's one thing. So, and then the other way, so how do you really want to control it? Remember, that's where you ask yourself the question, how would I control and tell people how to control the population? Because with the plundering of the planet and the overpopulation of the planet, yes, every politician is aware that that's not going to bring us to utopia, to the paradise. It'll destroy us. So what are we going to do? And that's why the spread of viruses comes on an occasion, just my personal view, is that try out what kills a lot of people, you know. But they can't do that on a synthetic way, you know, like have like they do in wars where they spray gases and all that, because that's traceable. Where when you have viruses where they mutate and all the rest of it, and they can do whatever they want in their labs and then just spread it out, then, well, let's see what happens. You know, like, because eventually nature, see the fearmonger of hidey hole, you're going to hidey hole and it's not going to get you. How stupid is that? At the end of the day, I mean, look at back in the in the medieval years in Europe when the Black Plague went through, it's made for two or 3 years, wiped 2/3 of the population out, gone. Simple as that. And how did it stop? Well, they didn't have any vaccinations. They didn't have any of this. You know what actually I reckon what stopped it is when people had nothing to eat anymore. They cleaned their tracks, and then there were resistance against it. They built resistance with over years. But at the time, because I mean, one of the Black Plagues I've followed through happened because of the sugar beet. See, when in the 15th century or thereabouts, there was sugar beet coming up. We domesticated that. And all of a sudden, they were planting sugar beets coming out of their ears. And everybody ate sugar beets because it's very nutritional from the point of it satisfies you, you know? It's like potatoes, starchy stuff. So that when you eat that over and over and over and you guts yourself full of it, well, what environment do you create internally? And I'm just saying, look, there's no proof for all of this, but one thing I know, when you decimate the population and food scarcity comes in, you'll clean your GI tract automatically because you've got nothing to eat. Simple as that. One way or another, but you clean it out. And I think that makes a huge difference then to your resilience against anything else. And then okay, well, we're over that. We can get on with it. You know what I mean? And so it is. You know. So I think that's. But as I said, when you see, it's just, and think about with all the communication improvements that we had, and we think this is so great, and we know less and less because we've got more and more questions, and nobody tells you the truth. With more communications, in the early days, it was okay, that we didn't know, so that's it. But because you didn't know, it didn't start a fear, didn't it? But when you know, the fear starts because you think, oh, this is mad, this is mad. So the more communications we have, the less we know, and the more fear we can create. It's bullshit. The whole thing, that's what I'm saying. TV out, radio out, even internet. You can make yourself completely stupid with this whole thing. Where at the end you can't hide. And let's be honest, even if it's a man-made virus spread, bang, out. All right, let's do that. And think about it. Wuhan, in some go-for hall of market where they have some exotic animals that spread swans. Now, how dumb do you have to be to believe that nature spreads one thing only once and never again? Now, how dumb do people have to be? They don't have to be a medical doctor to that. But that's a totally plausible story that people say, oh, yeah, that sounds right, yeah. Oh, these Chinese, they're bad buggers, aren't they? And so on and so on. All that rest, once it spreads, once. Same with SARS, same with all the other stuff. How stupid can you... Have you seen how nature pollinates itself when it wants to spread something? It does it by the gazillions. It'll make sure, if nature wants to destroy us with a virus, it'll make sure it does it comprehensively all around. Simple as that. With field strength and all the rest. I'm just saying. So that fearmonger is completely, and that's where, you know, and I find it good because we have tools and we know, and I think Lisa mentioned that very nicely, in yourselves, you know, once you do it, you know in yourselves, you know inside yourself that, and look, at the end of the day, are we here to stay forever? No. So if coronavirus comes along and takes me, well, and so it be. We move on, aren't we? Yep. End of the day, where's the, why worry about it? Why am I asking yourself up about it?
No, it's no worry at all.
Relax and let it happen. If it has to happen, it has to happen. Simple as that. If I know to wear a mask or not wear a mask, that I'd rather be dead and instead of following that bullshit and all the right, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's good that we have the tools that we know how to minimalistically can survive. Because then all of a sudden, even the smallest patch of grass can be utilized to just do a few herbs, just do a few this, which that all gets you going. That all gets you going. You know what I mean? Like you got no worries, Steve. You got no worries. You got plenty of it. Because once you understand how little you need, really, live by it. Then it's because you got no other choice. See, the thing is, when you know that the shelf's full in the shops, you have that, oh yeah, I can go and get it. But once you know there's anything there, your mindset changes as well. Oh, well, I've got nothing, I'll just got to bite through it. And that's what you learn to do. And while we're training ourselves to do this on a voluntary base, it might become a pandemic wave, you know what I mean? But, and then certainly, I mean, the only danger is, as I said, when people start to fist fight, you know what I mean? When they come out and get you, you know what I mean? They think you're a bastard and I want to know what you've got and so on and so on. So that's how I find that as a scary thing. But apart from that, learn to live off the soil again. All our ancestors did. Yeah. We might have to go back to it again. And I think we will have to go back to it again. Yeah. Simple as that. And I think there's no bad on it. It's just, well, that's what it is. Let technology go past and learn back to nature. You know what I mean? Like, and I think if you train yourself in that thought pattern, all this has far less an effect of making you angry or scary or whatever. Just, well, and if it gets me, well, what can I do? do I have to prove anything, or do I have to, end of the day, you know, that's it. I mean, I'm just saying that surrender, you know, that's surrender as well. Surrender to it, and that's it. Instead of getting blown away by all this crap that is made up, you know, simple as that. Anyway, that's just me, that I sit here and ponder about it, you know, because I had just had friends over. They lived here in Sydney, and they're friends of my wife, but then they bought themselves a place, some land in Tonga, which is in the South Pacific, and they built themselves a house over there now. So they're sold up here, and they're on their way over, you know what I mean? And I said, that's not a bad position to be in either, you know what I mean? Like, at least you have, you can not isolate, but you can actually flourish without having all this bloody stuff coming at you. I mean, like, it's as simple as that. So yeah, it was very nice, to talk and to see, and we'll probably visit them as well if we still can visit.
Yeah.
We might have to swim, you know.
Yeah.
We might have to paddle over there. You never know what happens. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's it's just and just even for them, the changes, you know what I mean. Like, they're going through changes too, in regards of nutrition, in regards of emotional and spiritual stuff, you know, and they're quite willing to try fasting, because I we obviously talked about fasting, and I said, look, the power and intelligence that made us is the power and intelligence that will heal us. But how do you heal your best? By not doing anything. Because as I said, once you get that paradigm off, that food, no, and the less you have of it, the better off your body is, or your power and intelligence that can work in you. Because they understood that fully, you know. And so it's a matter of, when you then have a place where you can go to and start building your own food supply. Well, they've got a little island with all sorts of around it. They got papayas every 365 days a year. Just think about that. If you had papayas, what else do you need?
Paradise.
What else do you need? And if there's other stuff there, you know, on the green veggie sites that is all year round. I said, why would you be worried about anything else once you tune yourself into that, mate? That is then paradise, isn't it? I mean, that's something that think, whoa, you know. But it's always, we want what we don't have, isn't it? We don't want what we have. You always don't want exactly what we don't have. You know? So that's another little spinner that you go through. Yeah. But as I said, yeah, I'm right with you. You know, like just Gina, let it go out. Prepare yourself. That's all it is. All you can do. Really. That's all I do. Simple. Yeah. Easy.
You know, no matter where you are, there's plants. Like in the middle of winter, what do we have in these places? We have evergreens.
Yeah. I mean, look, here, I mean, in this place, dandelion, purslane, they grow all year round. You got this all year round. That's what I'm saying. Once you learn to, you see, liberate yourself by knowing I can eat with so little, because remember, I believe, I still the same with the fields. Food doesn't get exchanged. No atom of food that you eat ever passes the membrane. It's the fields that exchange, and the other side of the body knows how to build the fields. With the fields, whatever you have to, builds your body. So if you give natural food, and that's why it's seasonal. You don't have to have everything all the time. You just have it through the seasons. When it comes, put it in. It is the field strength that transforms, and that gets on with it. So when you live in that paradigm, in that realm, then you have no problem, because you know I'm looked after by nature. Think about that, just that satisfaction when you know that I'm looked after. I have it all out there. I've just got to go and pick it, and I got to live it little. And that's what we like trying to do here, try it as little as possible. So how easy is it then? Really?
The only challenge is, in today's modern human, we are at the point that we are at the most obstructive state probably ever. And think about those people just not having to be able to eat. What are they going to go through? What about the people on pharmaceutical drugs that can't have access to what are these people going to go through? A lot of them are going to be dropping dead.
Absolutely.
But Gina, the power that made us is the power that heals us.
Exactly.
So even the medications, you know, they're unnecessary. They throw them out. But you see, that's a liberation that the people have. And in the meantime, yes, I agree, because the filth comes out and it drowns them and it kills them.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. See, if you can do that in small stages, then you have got the chance to get rid of it, you know. So, but as I said, sometimes, when tough times come, like they're here, and people will have all hell breaks loose, as simple as that. And that's what I'm saying. Just feel the liberation for yourself, that you don't have to be in that storm in the teacup to go and spin around on it. Just let it go, mate. Just don't worry about it, mate. Because you help yourself and you have connection to source. That's the most simple thing you can have. That's all it is, and that's all you need. I mean, that, honestly, I thrive so much on that, it's not even funny. You know what I mean? Like, I know, I know I still can go and this and that, but in preparation of redoing all this and knowing I can live, and I mean, I've just actually pulled all my books out again about the weeds out there, you know, live on weeds, because it will come. It will come. And I showed it to my kids again. I said, look, because I took them once down to Melbourne to do a walk through the weeds, and they were bloody terrified when they found out. But anyway, that's something. But I'm just saying, I find this for myself so liberating when I know I can do this. And I go, have you ever had a chickweed salad? Now, chickweeds are sensational. It's very nutty. It's very, and not just with a bit of orange juice on it, a bit of sprinkle of lemon. Absolutely sensational, you know. And we're coming now into the season where chickweed grows again, you know, because I had it in the backyard, but I pulled everything out. But I know huge areas where there's chickweed, and I can't wait now to wait till that comes back and propagates. And then, as I said, it's just, that's what I find is then help yourself, you know, just help yourself and know that the freedom you have when you know that you've got access to that, that's all there is. And then live it little, see? Try fast.
The plants that can help you the most are the ones that grow around you.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, look, it's local, seasonal, wholesome, all right? That's all it is. And that's where you look back into the soil. And even here, look, we've got bush areas, and that's why I'm saying I know creeks, and when you go for walks, you can see all this stuff there. But because you're so, you know, we'll just go and buy it instead of no. Let's just go back and get it from ourselves. Go and forage things that our ancestors did. Like, you know, I have still connection to my auntie that showed us. I think I mentioned it once. She knew all about herbs, and she knew all about the flowers. So when we drove through the mountains, she said, stop, I'm going to have these flowers. There's these flowers, look, they're in bloom. We can make arnica cream, you know, arnica spirit she had. And then she made arnica flowers, buds. And she put them in several bottles, alcohol, and she said, anything that's wrong, rub that on, you know what I mean? But you know what? It bloody hell helped. Simple as that. So that was just, as I said, it's all there. It's just, we lose, we get 7, we forget about it, and we're not worried about it because we got all this medical stuff, this pharmaceutical pyramid over our head. But once you know all, you know, like, think about animals when they're unwell, they always look for the plant that can help them. They don't eat that normally at all, but once they get sick, they find it. How is that happening? We don't have that, do we? We're drowning in our own shit. Well, they know how to help themselves in a way, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Again, it's just a liberating factor that I find so pleasant internally when you have that certainty, you know, as much as Lisa mentioned it, and just when your cells know that it's okay, you can live, you know what I mean? You can survive, and you know how to survive. And the cleaner you are, the better off you are. Simple as that. Yeah. Very good. Let's do it.
Yes.
We're all prepared, ready for the war. Simple as that. Yeah.
In the meantime, nobody that has had access to GANs that have been contracted this virus has not been able to recover. They all recovered. Just GANs. Simple. One little stupid thing. Right? So that's something that is good to make because you can help people with that are not ready. It's very simple. Start making your nano copper. Better to make the nano copper with the caustic. You get a much better nano coating. It takes longer, but who cares? Now you can start making and make batches of it and keep it around. The GANS material is as long as it's there, every nanoparticle has the potential of the sun. Once you have the water that's charged from the GANS material and you put it in another bottle, he mentioned it could last 6 months to a year. The field's just in the water. So you want to have always GANS material around to get the full strength of the field in the water. And you spray it on,
So there's this
breathe
water.
it into, put what we have the essential oil diffuser, put the GANS water in there.
So that's like the spray bottle.
Yeah,
Lasts
it's the
about
water.
6 months.
Yeah, 6
What
months
about
to
the
a year.
other one?
Infinity.
Infinity.
The GANS material is infinite. You have the amino acids that's on top. You take that off the top of the water and put that in a separate jar and fill it up and mix a little bit of that water with the other GANS water, and you have much more potency from the amino acids, because that's the amino acids what connects us.
Here, I'll show.
The amino acids are the little things that float on top of the water, correct?
It's the whitish material.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. No, no.
It's much more white.
This one is infinite.
Yeah, the actual plasma, the actual thing is there.
That's the amino acids. It's like an oily, fatty substance, right?
Yeah.
This is infinite.
It's still a GANS material, but it's
This is
So this
infinite.
material it has an infinite amount of energy. Once you remove the water and
Like here.
separate the water like we do in a spray bottle here, like that, 6 to 12 months. But if you keep it beside that,
That's just
It's
the water.
done.
it's infinite. It's when you give it to somebody, they got 6 to 12 month shelf life. So you teach a man to fish. I mean, to give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, and feed him for life. So that's what this is, right? Teach a man how to make GANs and feed him for life. And he's got his medicine and everything. But these materials, they're people laugh at them and everything, but man, oh man, they.
But Gina, do you think that, Kesh mentioned that China was making GANS water and spraying the streets and everything? Do you reckon that happened? Because I asked the question up there further too, but I can't get answers on that.
There's a big community in China.
Yeah.
He said that
That does it, yeah.
information, and they kind of stole the information, right?
Well, they do that, but anyway, that's besides that. But what he's saying is that they're using the material. There was there was a 9-hour marathon the other Thursday just passed.
Yeah.
They were
It's
showing
hard to sit through 9 hours, let me tell you.
they were showing the leader, and he made the statement that room where the leader was in was all sprayed with GANS water, or he wouldn't be out in that place, So anyway, it's a simple thing. The Persians took a high field photograph of the GANS material, and it's got a very unique structure, a cage structure. So each pocket is a high field strength, because where the darkness is the strongest fields, right? The soul has you can see in the brain on MRI, it's a dark spot. It's just a little dot of nothingness, and that's the highest field strengths. So the GANS material has the same thing, and if you look at the nano coating, also you have the little balls, and in between is where the field strength to keep the the nanoparticles separate and in what's the terminology? In positioning, mag-graph positioning. Just like blood particles, when they're stuck together, it's weak. When a good, healthy blood is all separated, right? And that's the field strength. It's the same as the nanoparticle. Same to same. So these things are so easy to make, guys. Like the flame method for the nano. It's it's very quick for emergency. I think he makes him. It's not correct making the material red, the copper. If you're using the flame method, you need to just heat it to like a kind of a bluish thing, and you'll get a better nano coating on the copper. But the best is using the caustic method, and just the longer you leave it, the stronger the nano material will be. So if you leave it for weeks, it'll be good. If you leave it for months, it'll be even better. And as you use these to make your materials, they do wear off. So you need to keep making them. But with one piece of copper, this is a little bit small. You can get like a bunch of wire, wind it up, or plates of copper or whatever. Once you coat it, it'll last quite a while. You make quite a bit of GANs. Like we have a big, what is that? The 1, 2, it's about a 3-4 gallon jar with a big portion of GANs in it, and it only took me a few days to make all that GANs. And they also found if you make 2 cup of lives and you interchange the wiring, I don't know if I shared the drawing. You get a much faster production of GANs with no battery. If you're using the batteries for emergency, for quicker dead battery, when you make it without the battery, the field strength of the GANs will be stronger, from my understanding. So it's a slower process, no rush. But in an emergency situation, you do what you have to do. So if somebody has contacted this virus or any virus, you spray their lungs, spray their back, front, back, spray their head, and have them drink 50, 100 milliliter of the water, only the water, every hour. And everybody who's went through that process, the fever starts coming down very quickly, and everybody survived. So it's good to have this simple tool. But ozone's another great product if you have that available to help with viruses. There's Dr. Rawen, who went to Africa with the Ebola, and he was helping people, and it was very effective, and they kicked him out of Africa very quickly. They couldn't have that because it was so cheap to inject ozone in one person's pennies. So the pharmaceutical companies could not have that happen, right? It's sad. This is where we've come as humanity, but this is where we are. Corporations run this planet.
And now he's talking about it again with the corona.
Yeah, all viruses are they can't handle oxidation. Ozone is a very powerful oxidizer. It has 3 molecules of oxygen, right? O3 and O4, O5, or 6 can have many. It's very powerful. I've always loved ozone. Nikola Tesla was the inventor of an ozone generator. Does anybody know that? Over 100 years ago. And his original ozone machine is still operational. Isn't that amazing? Go buy something today and what? Last year, a few months or years if you're lucky. But this is the consumerism mentality. So yeah, ozone is a wonderful thing. It's one of the few isolates, because it's in a plasmatic state, that I love. You can inject it pretty much anywhere in the body. The only thing, most people would need to be careful about breathing too much ozone. If the lungs are full of obstructions, it will not be pleasant. You'll be coughing your brains out. I remember when I started using ozone 20 years ago, I had a tough time breathing it in, coughing and so on and so forth. And over time, I was able to breathe in more and more and more. Now I can taking a nice chunk of it, nice from a strong ozone generator, and I might cough a little bit, but it wasn't like the old days there when I started. So what they say that it damages the lungs, it's only oxidizing all the obstructions in the lungs. So if you're heavily obstructed, like you give a dose to a smoker, I can assure you they'll quit smoking right after that. They'll be coughing their lungs out. They won't smoke because it's so hard, so strong of an oxidizer. It literally feels like you're coughing your lungs out. But there's always an antidote. Lemon juice with vitamin C. Drink it, and you'll see within 15, 20 minutes or so, you'll stop coughing because it just needs to be able to remove the oxidation leftovers, and that's why you're coughing. So the vitamin C and lemon juice, stir it up. Now, if you only got lemon juice, use lemon juice, whatever you have. It's a quick antidote if you've breathed in too much ozone and you're coughing, because it's not pleasant. It happened to me a couple times. Like it's almost like you can't breathe. You're just coughing and coughing and coughing. You can't get your breath. So it's good to know the antidote for that. Don't be scared of ozone. I love ozone. I love the smell of it. I love what you can do with it. It's so many uses. They inject it in joints, in muscles, into the blood directly. Many uses for ozone. You can do body bags. You can do insufflations rectally, vaginally. The only thing you got to be careful is just breathing too much of it, especially if you're in UV to ozone. The caregiver that we have, she's been with us for what now, a few months, and she says that we have an ozone generator and my mother's as well to wash the vegetables and stuff. And she just shared with me today. She goes, at the beginning it was bothering me. She goes, now I love this smell because as you start breathing more in, it clears out the lungs. Somebody with asthma, ozone will help. They'll start coughing their brains out at the beginning, but it will help them. What do you smell when it's after a nice, beautiful thunderstorm? That beautiful freshness. It's just awesome. Another thing that will help with the asthma and people with lung challenges is something that most people probably laugh. The skunk, the smell of skunk. Honestly, if I love the smell of skunk. And you'll understand it. It's a medicine. If you next time you driving and you smell the skunk, meditate on it and take that odor in. It really is a medicine. It honestly, it's a wonderful medicine.
It's like durian. It smells bad to the new people, but it's really once you love it.
If you have asthma, it will help you breathing in skunk. Like you don't want to get sprayed or anything, but just being in the area, because you know how strong the smell of skunk goes for miles. So there's so much stuff around us. Like to be in a fear state is just to choose to remain in an ignorant state and ignore everything that's around us. And this is not what we're about. We've been sharing so many things for the last 4.5 years. Nobody should be in a fear state, no matter what hits us. They strap us down, want to inject us. Okay, we know what to do. We know what to do, right? We move it out of the body. What are you going to do? If they force it upon you, if you got a family to take care of and children, so on and so forth, do you want to get into a fight and get killed and then you can't take care of them? I don't know. That's a choice that you'd have to make. I'm just saying.
I don't think we're going to see that in our lives,
Be prepared for anything. Mm-hmm. Just be prepared. We wish it would never happens and everything, but be prepared.
The
Plath,
truth is,
send Plath to everybody. This is
no one has
more than ever.
The truth is, nobody has complete power over us. Really.
They don't. They can force us down everything. But
no human being can have 100% control over any other human being.
They can't take your consciousness.
Even if exactly.
They can destroy your body, but they can't take your consciousness.
Yeah, I'm not talking about only the people in power, but any human being, nobody can take 100%, can have 100% control over you. And just be happy. Yeah, because you are always in control. Always. 100%. Like, okay, sorry, not 100%, but yeah, you ultimately, they don't have 100% control over us.
Okay,
It's just,
there's some questions here.
it's just that simple.
Where do you buy metal? Hardware store? You need copper, which could be any scrap wire, as long as it's pure copper.
From hardware store.
It could be from a hardware store. It could be from a Home Depot. It could be scrap. Any old appliances that have wire, they have copper in it. Any copper. And it doesn't matter the shape, size, or whatever. You know, you need copper and you need zinc. The zinc you can get from carbon zinc batteries. I think it was you, Diane, asking. Dollar stores have them here. It says right on them, carbon zinc. They're the cheaper type batteries.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a mess to
Can you buy zinc?
open them up and clean them out and wash them. But this pure zinc that's is the shape of the battery itself. So you get the big D ones and you get a big piece of zinc. You can buy zinc. They use it in roofing to protect roofing. They sell it in rolls at Home Depot in the US. They don't have it up here. I did order it from Amazon though. You can buy strips of zinc on Amazon if you can still get stuff. I don't know if Home Depot has any other plates of zinc or anything, but you can also get that on online. You need zinc, you need copper, and you need to get the same copper and nano coat it. Those are the three metals you need to make the cup of life. And you need salt, sea salt, and distilled water, and some wire to hook it all up. The videos, we've shared, and the drawings and so on. It's very simple. Anybody can do it. You can teach a child to do this. It's really simple. Make your salt solution, 10-15% salt, stir it up, and then put your plates, and leave the plates off the bottom of the whatever container you're making, because as the GAN starts being built up, once the GAN touches the plates, it kind of shorts out. So you always want the plates above the GANs. So you syringe out to the GANs material and you keep it going, keep adding more water and salt water, and make yourself a nice batch.
We have a description of that in the protocol.
Yeah, wash.
Not the nano coating. We probably have a video of that in the protocol.
Well, the Keshe Ship Institute has tons of
videos.
support and the websites and so on and so forth. The GANs, you need to wash it after a few cycles to remove the salt. But the ones, the first ones that you wash with that are very salty, put that one in your spray bottles. That's good for spraying externally, but you don't want to be drinking the salt. And once it's washed 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you'll see it's not salty anymore. Then that one there, you can take it internally, a tablespoon or whatever. If somebody's sick, have them drink, 50, 100 ml every hour. But this is something very, very simple that, these materials you can find in pretty much anywhere to make this stuff. Salt, some copper, and zinc. They're available pretty much all over the place, all around us. Scrap yards, whatever. You can find this stuff. And of course, you have our wonderful plants all around us that we can utilize. Lots of tools. If you've been master fasting, dry fasting state. Washing the colon over and over and over. The basic principles that we live and love. The herbs, we have powerful Boro-Tutu and Pau-Darko mix that we have. Just that there, we know firsthand, secondhand, that it got rid of somebody that had SARS, was tested positive, and then he was tested negative shortly after taking that mixture. So there's many other herbs as well that have been used traditionally for viruses and so on and so forth, bacteria out there, but those two are pretty powerful for that. And gotta remain calm. If the internet goes down, you guys all have knowledge. You've been following for a while.
I'm sure it won't be.
I'm sure if it does, we get connected again. All will be well. Through the plow fields, we'll be connected. And we continue. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. It's just a crazy situation. It's like, what's happening? Are the store shelves going empty to where all you guys are, like over here?
I mean, it's not empty here. We
No,
also
it's yeah, but it's starting.
starting. Yes,
Oh.
you can see like the lentils, the red lentils were out, and
No, you go to the big
the
stores.
chickpeas were, yeah.
Walmart.
Empty. It was empty. There was no produce. No produce. It was empty. The refrigerated section was empty. The dairy was empty. The meat cases were empty, and all the paper goods were empty. All the canned goods. This is Sam's. This is a big warehouse.
Wow.
Freaking empty this morning.
I think Costco.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been that bad wherever I've been. And I've been on 2 different coasts of Florida, so there's been some emptying, you know, the toilet paper, and but
Crazy.
it's still, yeah, it's weird. I don't know if it's the people I'm hanging around, but it's not. People just seem to be kind of just moseying around. Not really panicking here.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It slowly seems like it's spreading more and more in different places. So if it continues, it's just a matter of time before everything disappears. Because people are hoarding because they're in fear.
Yeah, there's some strange stuff that, you know, that's just so common now. But somebody in a motorized wheelchair, a very, very obese person, was going past me, and she had about 3 dozen sausages and a giant few hunks of meat of some kind in there, and that's it. Not veggies, nothing else. And here's this person that can't even walk.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about something from the movie, the documentary Forks Over Knives, where there had been a study about the drop in, I think it was either heart disease and stroke or cancer, when the Nazis had stolen all of the animals that were to be eaten from the possibly Norwegians. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, they got much healthier.
Yeah, they got much healthier, right? And then as soon as they got them back, and I just thought, you know, as you know, this sort of, you know, crisis, whatever it is playing out. This is the golden opportunity for everybody to heal and have less. But now we're so distorted in our worldwide culture that, you know, the woman with the cart, you can't even walk, is going around with 3 dozen sausages.
Yeah. Just imagine if these people can't have access to food and they have to forcibly fast, what they're going to go through. It's not going to be pleasant. Tommy's asking, I'm a recovering smoker. How long should I be on MFS before I try ozone? You can start taking ozone immediately, Tommy. Just know that, you know, if you start coughing, like I said, have your lemon and your vitamin C available, because if you start coughing, then you know what to do. Don't panic. It's going to feel like you can't breathe, but make sure you drink a good dose of straight lemon juice and some little bit of water with some vitamin C, and that's your antidote.
And is this like medical ozone or like
Ozone's ozone. There's medical units.
I mean the grade, yeah. But yeah, so he can just use the regular, right? For vegetable washing, regular machine.
Yeah. If you're gonna want to inject it and all that, then you need something that has good internal parts, high quality parts, and so it's there's no certain elements or metals that are touching the ozone that degrade and so on and so forth. It needs to be properly
So just bring it near your nose, like the stone, for example.
If you're washing your vegetables, it's in the air. You're breathing it in. If you want to just go over it and take an extra stronger breath, you can do that. Taking it through the water, it's a little bit less aggressive when it's bubbled through the water. Or taking it through olive oil. People are doing that. They can breathe it in.
Air, right? Just put it near your nose.
Yeah, it softens it up if you put it through oil. Bubble it through oil. You know that I never tell people to stop smoking. The few people that I remember that were on MFS that were smokers, it came to a certain point, usually a few weeks, that they just couldn't smoke anymore. The body says no way, and they stop. They stop smoking. Yeah. Because the body's in a purging mode, and you're trying. It's going to resist and it'll tell you to stop smoking. But if you've completely stopped already, you're gonna have to clean out the lungs. It's gonna be some work, but everything's possible. You clean out everything. Yes, same question. I read the protocol and watched the videos on it, but it was way over my head. I'll have to try again. Yes, shells are half bare. Yeah. It really is simple. It's not over your head, Sarah. It's copper that's nano coated, zinc. They get wired together.
Yeah, I did my best to describe it in the tools section.
But that was not the cup of life. That was the CO2.
Not the cup of life, but similar, right? More or less. Just have to make.
Don't confuse
changes.
people.
But it's a similar procedure. You have the zinc, and the other part is the.
That was the carbon rod.
Carbon rod, but what do you use for the cup of life?
Nano coated copper.
Yeah. So
Do you have the nano coated copper tutorial in the protocol?
We don't have it.
Or is it in a video or anything that you've done?
A simple way is you mix caustic lye. Get 100% lye. You can get it at the.
Yeah, I found some today. Yeah.
You mix it with some boiling water. Now you got to do it in a very well ventilated area, and when you put the boiling water, don't breathe it in. It'll burn out your lungs. This lye is very, very caustic, and from the studies and research that's been out there, it burns much more than acid. The alkaline side burns much more than the strong acids. So be very, very careful. Wear gloves and stuff, maybe in a mask, or do it outside. Pour in boiling water and just keep your face right away from it. And once you have that water, you only have to mix a small amount of water, a small amount of lye. You get it, put it in a spray bottle. Don't touch it with your hands. The antidote for lye is what? Vinegar.
Acid.
Huh?
Acid.
Yeah, vinegar. So if you make sure you have vinegar on hands in case you spill it, because it's hard to wash off lye. It feels very slippery, and if you don't take it all off, it'll burn right into you. So you have to neutralize it, or you have to continuously rub it in the water, rub until there's absolutely no slippery feeling anymore. But the best thing is a little bit of vinegar, and it'll neutralize it. You have your solution after you put in a spray bottle. Get your copper, put in a plastic Ziploc bag, spray it, zip it up, put it in the sun, and you will see that's the most simple way to make nano coated copper. Don't leave a lot of liquid in it. Like leave some liquid in the bag, and just put it in a position where the liquid's separate from the metal itself. It's just the moisture in the sun, and you'll see it in about an hour or so. It starts turning black. So leave it in there a few days, and maybe spray it every day. Give it a little spray, and take out the excess, and just leave it in the sun sealed. And that's the easiest way to make nano copper. And the longer you leave it, the better. So have a batch going, leave it for a few days, and then you can start making your cup of life, and then start making other batches, and just leave them in there. Like I have some in a container with the caustic, and they've been there for a year, being coated, nano coated. It just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, the coating, the longer you leave it. So it's not very difficult, guys. Don't make it seem like it's difficult.
And also watch a few videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
just to have an
idea. Watch from different people's, because sometimes you get a better
instructions.
You resonate more with certain people.
Yeah.
To the way they explain it.
Different instructions. But
I'm not good at explaining things.
You're all right.
I have an understanding, but to relay it sometimes.
I mean,
I'm not a teacher either, believe me. I tried.
The best thing is to make a video, but you'll have to put an effort into that.
Can you repeat the part about the copper in the bag? To nano coat the copper. You get you know, if this is your piece of copper and this is your bag, you put the copper in the bag, put your copper in a Ziploc bag, spray with the solution of your caustic, zip it up, and then move the metal away from the liquid inside the bag and just put it in the sun. Well, you guys can't even see it. Sorry. So if this is your copper and this is your bag, put it inside the bag, spray it, zip it up, and then lay it down and move the metal away from the wet part and just leave it in the sun and leave it there for a few days. You can spray it a little bit every day. It makes a really quick way to make the nano coating. That's the key, the nano coating, to create proper ganses.
Yeah, and the tools, we do have a good explanation, but we use the carbon rod, and it does say here not to use carbon rod. I did remove that in the past.
Yeah, we move away from the matter state. We want to use the nano-coated coppers.
But we don't have a video on nano-coated copper. Did you make one before? No.
No.
No, you just have to watch a few videos.
No.
You do have a video where you do the first half of that. I watched it today with the dumping of the water and with the lye and that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's that part.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Ocean again.
See, here's what I did. See, I bought some zinc plate.
Yeah.
And then I just made it out of old wire, you know, a house, just normal electrical wire, just take the plastic off and then just wind it up. And so, and then just connect it together. I mean, I soldered it together, but you can just wrap it around. So that's your zinc, that's your copper, and that's your nano-coated stuff, you know what I mean? But that, as I said, when you use it, it sort of wears off.
Yeah.
And so, but that's, and they just go in a container, and that's how simple it is.
Yeah, when you're making a nano coating with the copper, with the caustic, make sure it's clean. Maybe give it a rinse with some vinegar, and then wash off the vinegar, and then spray it with the caustic. Make sure the copper's clean, and you'll get a stronger nano coating. It's much better than the flame method. Much better.
Yeah.
But like I said, the flame method, it works. It's just an emergency situation. That's all you have. Bang bang, we can do it. It's okay. So yeah, like you know, that was a good marathon last Thursday. They were also showing all the tests they were doing on plants in Japan, in China. Watch it, very interesting. There's also people in Australia who did much experiments with the plants and the GANS materials. They grow better. Shelf life is way longer, way longer. The taste is better. And all they did is they have hydroponic system with tanks, and they got a bottle, a plastic bottle, GANS material in the bottle, sealed, put in the tank. Just the fields. Just the fields. They've made many videos. What was their name again? John, is it? And no, I can't remember the names.
You mean the one in Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot.
They're originally from South Africa.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a few good videos, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah. So this is going to be the future. It's going to be more and more about fields. We're drifting away from the matter. We've been in matter for long enough. We're going to be working more and more with the fields, with the PLAF, and this is what MFS is about. We're working with the fields, and you know, so many are focusing on all the material things of what's in MFS. That's not what we're working with, and you're not going to have the power that we've seen through matter. It's because of the fields we're working with. And once you understand that, then you understand that you don't need to know how it works. It does. because we put that soul in the position of autopilot and let it do its thing. It knows what to do. It's connected with source. It knows exactly what to do. We've seen it thousands of times, thousands, right? So believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's time tested with many people. A video would be great. It doesn't have to be fancy.
Yeah, I can take it for you.
Yeah. So nothing's changed. We continue to live and love it, guys and gals. Nothing's changed, no matter what happens out there. You know, as they say, you can be free physically, but in a prison in your mind, right? Or you can be in a prison physically and free in your mind. The choice is always yours. Or you can be free anywhere. So it's interesting times, and there's going to be changes that are going to are going to affect the planet like never before. It looks like, because we've never seen anything like this on a global scale, right? So this is truly the test of our belief in the PLAF. You know, peace, balance, correct conduct. This is the time, and we'll see how we pan out, because it's very strange, very strange.
Change is good.
Yeah, change is necessary. It's the only thing that's constant throughout the universe is change. It has to be continual to keep everything flowing. Wow, we're already 3 hours. My goodness. Oh man, it's always a blast to be with all you guys. Have some fun, and we inspire each other, share each other's stories, and this is what it's about. Who knew that we had an idea of what something was coming, but we never expected something like this. But hey, we'll take it with open arms, because it truly is the time of PLAF to shine and to be in service to whoever we can. So let's keep that focus strong. Let's continue to work on living and loving it. And if more of the plaque hits the fan, we'll be ready. So yeah, we're all over the planet here, and we will continue. All right, so we'll call it a close. If anybody else says anything else.
Just want to say goodnight to y'all.
Hi, Lisa.
All
Best
right.
love to everybody.
Always.
Keep that field strength up, and everything will be all right.
Brittany just keeps showing up.
Yeah. We'll make it. No matter what, we'll make it through.
Keep coming.
Love you guys a lot.
We love you too.
Yeah.
Some of us jump the fence, you know. We'll keep in touch anyway. All right, guys. Have a great night or day wherever you are. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much.
Thank you.